Hello. Okay, there. Now it's working. All right. So shout out to OBS for having a momentary seizure. But down here in Kansas, we have a few people, or we have Hunter Hurley on this tornado-warned storm. And then back up in Iowa, we have this observed tornado where we have more than one tornado reported on this storm. We have 4 or 5 storm chasers on this storm who've all reported tornadoes. So over the next couple of hours, I do expect that's a new tornado warning in Kansas. We'll get to that in just a second. But over here in Iowa, anywhere on the back side of this line, that's where we're looking at in terms of tornado potential. We've seen a couple of storms already produce tornadoes there, so the rest of them are probably going to as well. That new tornado warning is down here in Kansas. That includes Miller, Barkley, and Osage City. Hunter Hurley is live on that one, and we have his feed with us today. So if there is a tornado on that, hopefully we'll be able to see that here. The storm does look quite tornadic on radar, and I'm kind of surprised that we haven't had an observed tornado with this yet. It's latched on to this outflow boundary from earlier convection, so what this is going to do is going to work to kind of fuel this storm and direct it and keep it going for a longer period of time. The SPC was actually talking about this in one of their outlooks earlier, where they were saying that once we see a storm make their way into the regions of better inflow and shear, this is when we're going to start to see these storms get tornadic, and that's exactly what they're doing. This is just the first of many storms that I expect to see sort of latch on and take advantage of this outflow boundary. If we see any convection here to the south further, we could definitely see more tornado producers further here to the south, and that goes for the north as well. I don't know if we're going to see any more convection up here in the north, just because we already have the convection down to that south, and what that's going to sort of work to do is limit the productivity of this environment further to the north in a lot of this area here. We did also have a few storms up here, so we might get a little bit of boundary interaction, but I don't know about that yet. As I'm looking at our chaser feeds here, it does look like we're starting to see an increase in rotation back here in Atlantic. Still can't see the rotation from those storms on radar very well. I'm gonna try a couple of different radar sites. This one, it looks like we might be picking it up a little more here near the or just south of Atlantic. This area behind the storms is where we're looking. Also, just taking a look at the way that these storms are shaped on radar, I wouldn't be surprised if we have a tornado here shortly south of Griswold, Iowa. Once again, there are a few storm chasers on the ground there, so we do have eyes on those storms. But for now, I would say that the most significant tornado threat is going to be from this storm here in Kansas. And this is sort of set up in a direction where it's going to slowly work its way towards the Kansas City metro over the next couple of hours. Right now, it's moving off to the southeast, but eventually a lot of these storms have slowly started turning to the north, and if we see that happen, there will be some sort of tornado threat for the Kansas City area. The area that I'm most concerned about is just south of Kansas City, anywhere in these 8 counties. This is where our most prime tornado threat is, and that's where I expect to see the most significant tornadoes today. There's probably only going to be 1 or 2, but there is a chance we could have more convection on that outflow boundary. I'm going to take my radar Omega up here in Iowa so we can kind of flip between the two, and I'll leave GR2 on this storm here in Kansas. I think this storm to the north, let me load a little more radar data on it, but I don't think that this is going to pose much of a tornado threat. Yeah. So what we're looking at here with this storm to the north is a sort of intensifying left split. So these 2 storms that we have here were once the same storm, but this one has since split off of this one, and it's working its way up to the north. Normally left splits die out and aren't overly tornadic, so I would be quite shocked if this does produce a tornado, but we might see a little bit of boundary interaction from that, and that could potentially fuel something like that cell to be a lot bigger. Cass County. Let me zoom out here on radar quickly and look at where Cass County is. Oh, yeah, Cass County in Iowa, that's where we have that tornado warning. Flipping it over to GR2 here, or not GR2, radar Omega. Hold on, where's my pen? There's my pen. This area right here is the area where we're most concerned about potential tornadoes, but anywhere in this line, there's going to be tornadoes. You can kind of see all the hook shapes we have going on here. Anywhere on the lower left-hand side of these storms, there could be a tornado, so I would probably take shelter. The good news is all the tornadoes that it looks like have been, or all the tornadoes that we've seen come from these storms so far are not that strong, but still there's not really any point on playing games and seeing how dangerous, or there's no point in playing games with tornadoes. They normally tend to win. Throwing it over to Hunter Hurley's stream, once again, he's on that storm in Kansas that's tornado warned. We can see that there's a nice base on it, but right now there's definitely not a tornado. How's it going, Redbird? Welcome in. Welcome, Bennett. Welcome, Morgan. Welcome, Hayden. Right now we're kind of just in a waiting game here, waiting to see if these storms are... waiting to see what they're going to do. Once again, Hunter is on this storm. You can see his location right here. There's a nice clean inflow notch, so I do expect that this storm is probably going to strengthen over the next couple of hours. But we'll see what happens with that. Let's go ahead and see if Hunter has his Zello on. Hey Hunter, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Alright, we are looking at your feed live here, and we know that the storm's tornado warned, but it doesn't look like it's producing a tornado. What are you seeing on the ground, and do you think it's poised to produce a tornado over the next couple of hours, or what's your opinion on that? This is Storm Chaser Hunter Hurley, guys.
So we did have ground circulation. Sorry to cut out there, the EAS went off my phone. As you can see right now in front of us, we got a massive funnel cloud, but we did have ground circulation. A couple of minutes ago when I was pulling up, you could briefly see it skirting the ground. About to actually move south and storm again to keep up with this funnel cloud that's currently ongoing. We might have a tornado here within the next minute or so.
Yep, they did just issue a confirmed warning for that. Alright guys, so that confirmed tornado warning that you just saw come across, that's for this storm that we're looking at here on Hunter Hurley's feed. It seems that someone a little closer to that storm has confirmed that there is ground circulation ongoing. So our tornado is going to be right here. You can see this large funnel cloud, and that was the upgrade that came through. So yeah. If you're in Barkley, Reading, Osage City, it looks like they changed the polygon a little bit. Still be taking shelter. Miller, you're also in this polygon. Still go ahead, take shelter. I don't think you're going to hit by the tornado, but tornadoes do weird things, and it's not something you want to mess around with. Assuming that this supercell is going to be long-lived, which it looks like it's going to be, we also want to be ready to take shelter in towns like Linden, Melbourne, Olivet, Williamsburg, Panoma, and Waverly. Once again, these are all in Kansas. Here's a look on radar again. This is Hunter's location, and this is our tornado that we could see on his live feed. I'll keep an eye on that, and if we see a more pronounced tornado, I will let you guys know. But there is nothing that we can see on his feed right now. Well, we're waiting to see if there's going to be a tornado once he gets a little closer to that. One thing I want to talk about is the intensity of the forward flank of this storm. So that is the area that I have circled on radar, and you can see that on the bottom right hand panel here, this is our ZDR, or our differential reflectivity. Anything or any time that we have a high CDR or high ZDR value, so that's your 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s, that means that that storm is strengthening, and it's probably going to continue and last for a long time. And we can see, zooming in on the ZDR here, we have values even above that 6 in here in the forward flank. So that means that this is a healthy storm, and it's going to stick around for a while. So we do need to be keeping an eye on this to see what it does over the next couple of hours. Back up here to our north, this is our left split. It looks like there's a little bit of hook on reflectivity, but once again, it's a left split, and they don't tend to produce tornadoes. I would expect that this is going to make its way over the Topeka, Kansas area and start dropping all of its precipitation. So we might be looking at a little bit of a flash flooding threat over there in Topeka. One other thing I want to mention is over here further to the west in Junction City, Kansas, we had a large area of training storms kind of sit over this area for a couple of hours, and they got over 10 inches, or not 10 inches, 5 inches of rain. We can bring it over to GR3 here, and we can see that this gray area here, that's in Junction City. This area got over 5 inches of rain, so there's most definitely significant flooding starting or about to start there. How's it going, Lisa? Back up to Iowa here. No tornadoes on the ground as of now. They did extend this warning and make it a little bigger. I think that's because they're looking at a larger overall tornado threat for most of the line here. This would be like a perfect time for them to issue a special weather statement for this entire area, saying, hey, guess what? There's this line of storms, it's coming towards you, and it has the ability to produce tornadoes, if not funnel clouds. So just be keeping a lookout for that. That's not something they do, but in my opinion, that's something that they should start to do. So taking a look back down near Hiawatha here, it's not in the best radar area, but we do have another 2 supercells sort of in this area. This one looks like it's the healthier of the 2, so we might see some sort of tornado threat from that in the future here. It will be questionable what kind of environment it's working into, because if you see here on the radar, we have this large area of sort of precipitation extending all the way up to the Iowa border. Now, this isn't actually a storm. This is the anvil, or the overshooting top of this storm down here near Topeka. And what this is going to work to do is it's going to cool and sort of adjust the environment in any area to the north of this southern edge. So basically here. And it's going to be cooler, and it's going to be drier than what we expected it to be because of that anvil. And that's going to effectively work to reduce the tornado threat all the way up to the Iowa border. Throwing it back to Hunter Hurley's feed here, he's getting ever closer to this possible tornado we have in Kansas. Taking a look at radar here, we can see that we have this area of rotation, and it looks a little bit decoupled from our area of highest reflectivity, but I think what we have going on with that is just a little bit of a time difference in the times on the radar. So over here on the reflectivity, this was taken at 121Z, and this one was taken at 122Z. So in that time, I believe that this is area of rotation made its way a little further to the northeast, and that's why they're not really in the same spot. So I would guess that this is our tornadic circulation, and it is trying to produce a tornado shortly if it's not already. That line's going right towards Greenfield. Yeah. Greenfield here, this is most definitely, even if these storms continue to produce tornadoes all the way into Greenfield, it's not going to be anything like what Greenfield saw in, I want to say, what was it? a couple of months or a couple of weeks ago, a couple months ago, whatever one it was. That was like one of the strongest tornadoes we've ever seen. These are going to be the definition of weak tornadoes. Maybe an EF0 at the most, probably an EFU if they do any damage whatsoever. So there's Greenfield. You really have nothing to worry about. Just keep your eye out for maybe a weak tornado. Looks like we got update on our radar indicated tornado warning here. I believe that they've probably canceled this observed warning, but that polygon is going to continue to show because GR2 doesn't cancel it until the time that they originally issued it for. But I think it's safe to say that this is a radar indicated tornado at this point. How's it going, James? How's it going, Steven? How's it going, Joshua? Yeah, this left split isn't going to be tornadic. I don't even think it's going to produce significant hail, but definitely a lot of gusty winds and a torrential rainfall coming for the Topeka area as we kind of see this storm die out and go into a microburst-esque kind of situation where it's dropping all of its precipitation at once. Like we have a new or a couple new mesoscale discussions here. Let me go ahead and get those pulled up here. Actually, we have 3 different discussions to take a look at here. So this is going to be the first one that we're going to want to take a look at.
Hey Riley, I've got a secondary tornado developing right on top of me basically. I am now blasting east. I'm sure you can see the insanely fast motion in these clouds from my live stream, but we do have a developing tornado pretty much on top of me. It's just west of me, but it's enough where it's making me uncomfortable to stay where I was there.
Alright, so that was Hunter Hurley. He's on this storm in Kansas that we're talking about. We're going to put those new discussions from the SPC and Weather Prediction Center on hold, but we take a look at his feed. We're looking at a developing tornado right on top of him. So he's going to start shooting off to the east here, like he said. Bringing it back over to radar, I think we can start to see this area of rotation right here. And that would be right on top of him, so he needs to start heading off to the east and or southeast to make sure he's out of the way of that thing. But almost certainly a strong or a stronger tornado than what we're seeing in Iowa coming here shortly in Kansas. So make sure if we are to the north of our tornado warning over here in Osage City and to the north of that, this tornado is probably going to produce and make its way off to the northeast as it occludes. So people who aren't in this current tornado warning are going to have to be keeping an eye out for this thing. Doesn't seem like it's on the ground yet, and hopefully Hunter will let us know if he sees ground contact with that. Let's actually go ahead and talk to him there or here quickly. Yeah, we're looking at that storm on GR2, and there's most definitely a second mesocyclone developing and heading right towards you. Stay safe and let us know if you get any ground circulation. That is up to a yellow TVS now, so that is most definitely a developing tornado right here near Hunter's location. And there's now an area of higher reflectivity values there, so it might be safe to say that this thing is on the ground. We'll see in a little bit here, but right here, this is where we're looking at with our new area of rotation. Thank you, Steven. That's what we're trying to do here. We can be serious, but we're also not serious. But right now, definitely one of those times where we want to be serious. Let me hurry up and make attempt to make a tweet here. Let's see if I don't get banned again. I actually got banned on Twitter yesterday. Oh, where's my YouTube link here? There's my YouTube link. Alright, got that tweet out. Sorry for the silence there. Looks like Hunter's got a better view of this thing now. If I had to guess, this would be our tornadic circulation starting right here. No clear funnel, but data's a little choppy, so we're probably not going to have the best picture of it. The one thing I want to mention is the strong motion in this area right here. If you watch those clouds, you can see them being sucked up off of the ground and into the storm. What that means is this thing is most definitely getting stronger, and it's probably going to produce a tornado here shortly, and the storm's going to stick around for quite some time. Also looks like we might have another storm in Iowa trying to produce a tornado up closer to where our warning was up there. Once again, that's up here near Atlantic, Iowa. Another area of rotation on this cell right here. So still need to be keeping an eye out there for a possible tornado here shortly. For now, our main tornado threat is still down here in Kansas, so that's what we're going to want to keep a lookout for. That area of reflectivity that was making its way into the inflow notch has subsided a little bit, so hopefully that's going to start to get, or that's going to be a trend that we see continue, and we don't see a stronger tornado sort of occur here. But I would have to assume that this storm is going to go through some sort of cycling process where it's just going to get take a few tries to produce a tornado. We might, or we need to go look at those tweets from the Storm Prediction Center. Oh, Twitter is not wanting to behave. All right, so here is our first mesoscale discussion from the SPC. We're looking at western or northwestern Kansas, eastern Colorado, and extreme southwestern Nebraska. 60% chance of a severe weather watch there. That would be a severe thunderstorm watch, and that's going to be mostly from a uptick in damaging wind potential. So that was one of the three discussions that we had issued. The other one was from a little longer ago. And once again, that's not wanting to open image in. There we go. Okay, well, it's really small for some reason and really blurry. But another watch here, that is in Iowa, and that's for another severe watch, a 40% chance of getting a watch there. That would be for the line that we saw producing tornadoes in Iowa. Gonna go ahead and repost a tweet from Hunter Hurley on Twitter. Once again, this is his feed right here as he's watching this storm start to try and produce a tornado here. Yeah, there's a couple storm chasers on this storm in Kansas, and it looks really pretty. Don't think we have a tornado yet, but I would be surprised if this thing doesn't manage to produce a tornado by the end of tonight. Is YouTube running ads again? Because I think it said that it was trying to run ads. Let me make sure ads are off. Yeah, ads are off. All right. How do you think southern Wisconsin will do? What do we mean? How do we think that it's going to do? I don't think we're going to have a lot of a severe threat there. I know there's a line of storms going through the Watertown area all the way up to oh, the Two Rivers and Sheboygan area, but it's nothing too severe right now. We'll take a quick look at that. It's probably going to work its way over the Lake Michigan, where it will die here over the next couple of hours, so nothing to worry about there. But we do need to take a look back at Kansas because we just had a new tornado warning issued. I'm almost certain that that's going to come in right here in this area and be for this storm that we've already been looking at on Hunter Hurley's feed. Yep, there's our new warning there. Radar indicated, and I would agree with that because Hunter's there right now and he's not saying that we have a tornado, so we definitely don't have a tornado. It ran ads? What in the world? That's annoying. I don't want to run ads because like there's no point in running ads. They make you like what, 2 cents? That's not worth it to lose a bunch of viewers. I think we still have some sort of secondary rotation area going on here, as well as our main rotation area here. And inside of this hook, we do have what's called a BWER, or a bounded weak echo region. That means that there is a strong updraft here that could be associated with a tornado. There is rotation there as well, so it's something to keep an eye on over the next couple of hours, like I've said a million times, but definitely not concerning as of now. Either way, people in the town of Barclay, Olivet, and all the way into Linden, let's go ahead and take shelter. There's no reason to be playing games with tornadoes. Tornadoes tend to win. So just be smart. Go to your basement. Go to the most interior room of your house. And just stay safe. Don't be playing around with these things. Leave the playing around with tornadoes to storm chasers like Hunter Hurley, who know what they're doing and they know how to stay safe. Look at the just overall winds on Hunter Hurley's feed. Even if there isn't a tornado, those trees are absolutely moving. And we do have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning for this area. Winds of up to 70 miles an hour and golf ball sized hail. So certainly if you're in that red box that we have here, even if you're not in the tornado warning, you might as well go ahead and take shelter. Definitely don't be outside because there's a strong thunderstorm that's ready to come through your area. How, when the warnings are coming through, are they too loud or too quiet? I don't think is audio even working on the warnings right now? It might not be. Okay, there's the audio. I think that's better. You're almost hit by the Marshall, Wisconsin tornado. Yeah, I remember that tornado. It wasn't overly strong, but still, a tornado's a tornado. You're not hearing the warning audio? Okay, I think it had the sound input messed up, but hopefully next warning you guys will be able to hear that. Either way, if the pop-ups are working, that's what matters the most, and I'm not about to start screwing with it just to get the audio to work, because I'd rather have pop-ups and no audio than nothing at all. Once again, we are just keeping an eye on this storm just a couple of counties south of Topeka. It seems like Iowa is starting to... Oh, no, it looks like we might have an area of rotation in Iowa. That's on... Hold on, let me move my radar. Once again, that can be for this area here. These storms near Atlantic and all the way up to just northwest of the Des Moines area. We've talked about them a million times. There's going to be a lot of weak tornadoes spinning up on the back sides of all of these mini cells here. So keep an eye out for any potential tornadoes if you're in that area. Taking a look at Hunter's feed there, that is an absolute mothership of a storm. No tornado on the ground right now, but still a strong storm. The pop-ups are working? Okay, good. It looks like we're now getting reports of a tornado on the ground up here in Iowa. That is on the storm right here near Wyota. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. This one right here, that's where our potential tornado is on the ground. It's not strong. It's very, very, very weak, but it's a tornado nonetheless. So anyone in Wyota, Cumberland, and Messina, this is not a fast-moving tornado here, but it's a tornado, and just take shelter. It never hurts to be safe. Yep, we do have confirmation of that tornado on the ground. A couple of storm chasers now. I'll go ahead and repost one of those on Twitter. If you're not following my Twitter, my @ is, you can search up Riley Dibble and it'll come up, or you can also search up Simco12_WX, and that will be my Twitter. Back to GR2 here. That's our storm that Hunter Hurley's on. I doubt that it's producing a tornado right now. It kind of needs to suck up this area of convection here and recycle before I think it's going to produce a tornado. There's just a little too much going on here for it to produce a tornado at this moment. It seems that we have a multi-vortex tornado on the ground in Iowa. It's not strong, and it's not your normal like multi-vortex wedge, but it's a tornado. That is on a couple of different people's feeds right now. Once again, that's just east of Atlantic, Iowa. We've seen this storm produce more than one tornado today, and it's probably going to continue to produce them for at least some time here. Hopefully we get a warning on that in the next couple of minutes. The reason that we're not seeing these storms get warned is because they're low top storms. The tornadoes are very, very quick. They pop up and disappear quick, and you really can't see it on radar. Like, there's a tiny area of rotation here, but that's really not anything that you would expect to produce a tornado. So unless we can have a situation where the National Weather Service is like quite literally locked in on a storm chaser's feed, and they have the warning already queued up, we're probably not going to see a tornado warning for a lot of these spots. That's not something it's not like a situation where we had the other day with NWS North Platte, where we had a violent tornado on the ground and weren't getting a warning. It's probably honestly okay if these tornadoes are going unwarned. They're not going to get a high rating either way. But it would be nice, but I can understand why we aren't warning these. My radar Omega thing is messed up, but we'll focus on that tomorrow. Taking it back to Kansas here with our storm that Hunter Hurley is on. Still no tornado here. Probably have a better chance of a tornado in Iowa right now. Sunday in Johnson City, Tennessee. Let me go ahead and pull up the SPC outlook here for Sunday. Sunday, it looks like just your normal everyday like thunderstorms, a marginal risk at the most. Marginal risks that you're basically what we're expecting there is a few stronger thunderstorms with some very, very small hail and perhaps some damaging wind gusts, but definitely, at least in my opinion, there's not a chance of tornadoes on Sunday. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and flip on Hunter Hurley's feed here and unmute him. Then I'm gonna run to the bathroom quick. I will be right back. I'm back, and I'm not going to forget to unmute this time. Look at me go. Back into GR2 here. Doesn't look like we had any new warnings of high significance while I was gone. There was a severe thunderstorm warning issued for Douglas County, Jefferson County, and Shawnee counties in Kansas, but nothing overly concerning. We're kind of waiting for some sort of tornado here. There is one thing I'll go ahead and mention quickly, and that is we just had an update from the National Hurricane Center, and we have Tropical Storm Beryl. So that is off in the ocean right now, just north of South America. And this is probably going to be our first hurricane of the year. We can see the National Hurricane Center's outlook here. Right now, we already have a tropical storm, and we're expecting this to become a hurricane by 2 p.m. on Sunday. A few models actually have this being shown to become a rather major hurricane. I'm not completely sold on that yet, but we might have some sort of significant landfall here in Cuba and the Dominican Republic. Oh, we now have an observed tornado warning. That is in Iowa. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And that was the area that we were talking about here near Wyoda and Anita. Once again, this is this storm that's been doing it all day in multiple different areas here. It's still going, and it's still producing tornadoes, so still just ahead of this thing. Just be ready for it and be taking shelter as soon as you get that warning. Running audio is working now. Good. Was it too loud or too quiet or just right? I want it to kind of like be enough to sort of wake you up and be like, oh, hey, there's something going on here, but I don't want it to be like, oh, hey, my ears are bleeding. We just got a continuation of our tornado warning here in Kansas. It looks like we dropped the observe tag on it here. That was this one back here. You can see that with the pink and black line. No longer an observed tornado, which we knew because they issued a new radar indicated warning. But for some reason, we didn't cancel this. We just kind of let it go. It's just right. Perfect. Believe it or not, I have it on OBS set up 25 decibels quieter than what I hear it at. I like it because I wear a headset because I don't really like hearing background noise, so it needs to be pretty loud in order for me to hear it through my headset. Turn it up a little bit. I might bump it up a little bit just because it did look like it was pretty quiet, but not too much. I turned it up to negative 22 decibels. We'll see if that's a little better, and I'll probably go back and watch that or watch the stream replay later. Throw it over to Hunter Hurley again, taking a look at his feed. He's on that storm in Kansas where it looks like it's sort of trying to figure out what it's doing with itself. There's some new convection going up in the western regions of what was our hook right here. Oh, my pen's not working. Right here. And this could do one of two things. This could either be a destructive merger where it's going to work to completely get rid of this storm, or what it could do is it could kind of add to the rear flank downdraft of this storm and really work to make a more tornadic storm. Oh, one other thing that we should probably take a look at is this area right here. We can sort of see this line on radar. This is the outflow from the storm that we've had trying to produce a tornado up here that Hunter's on. Further down here, we have a little area of new convection right here near Waverly. What this is going to do is maybe if it grows fast enough, it could potentially have an interaction with this storm where it goes on to produce a stronger tornado. Or not a stronger tornado, it could cause either this storm to produce a tornado or make this one become more tornadic if it actually grows enough before it has some sort of interaction. Back up here to the north, we're starting to have some weird signals on this thing. Let's take a look at this from a different radar and see if there's agreement with it. Yeah, it looks like there is some sort of rotation going on with this thing. It's nothing too tight right now, and it's pretty wrapped in rain, so it's not overly concerning, but in the future it could go on to do something concerning. Stand by for a second while I get my Iowa feeds on over here. It looks like the tornado that we had in Iowa near Atlantic has lifted and is no longer on the ground. Nonetheless, this is going to remain a tornadic storm for at least the next half hour, so let's still be in our safe spots and don't be messing around with this thing. The issue with this storm that I see is it doesn't look the strongest on radar, and it's certainly not going to look like the strongest storm. So people are going to be on the ground, and they're going to see a tornado warning, and they're going to look up at this thing and be like, hey, that's nothing. That's a bunch of gibberish. I don't need to take shelter. Well, guess what? This random uncondensed area of winds around 100 miles an hour is going to shoot across the field at 40 miles an hour and slap into your red F-150 and flip that thing upside down. So, if you're in a tornado warning in Iowa, even if the storm looks like nothing's going on, take shelter, please. I don't need to see anyone's trucks getting flipped. And as we say that, I think I just saw a new tornado on this storm. Once again, in this area I've circled a million times, another area of uncondensed rotation just starting to hit the ground and sort of cause very light damage there. Let's take another look at this storm in Kansas. Still doesn't look like it's producing a tornado right now. Still kind of needs to get its act together. But let's be taking shelter either way, because it could definitely spin up something randomly, if not get a little stronger. Welcome back to the United States government. We had you in here yesterday. Yeah, I just called out a lot of people. I feel like a majority of people, when they see tornado warnings, if it's not like raining cats and dogs and there's chunks of ice falling out of the literally chunks of ice the size of your fist falling out of the sky, they're like, meh, that's not something we need to be concerned about it. Rest assured it is. And even uncondensed tornadoes in a brief rain shower can very well go on to mess up your day. So don't judge a tornado by what it looks like. I do want to see if we can get another opportunity to talk about that tropical storm. Do we have any? We do. We're en route. We have a Hurricane Hunter aircraft en route to our tropical storm right now. Actually looks like that might have just been a repositioning flight, so that's no fun. But it looks like they are getting ready to do some sort of investigation into this tropical storm. Let me bring this back over here. Snap the window in place, and once again, we were just looking at this, but yeah, like I said, a couple of models are hinting at this being a major hurricane. This Cat 3 level here, that is your major hurricane. I would go out, it's not going out on a limb to say that these models here are smoking something, and they're smoking something strong. In reality, we're probably going to see somewhere on the low middle end of this, which is something just like this, and we're probably going to see a medium or a middle category 2, maybe an upper category 2, but right now I extremely doubt that we're going to see a major hurricane from this thing. In terms of where we think this is going to go, this is our global and our hurricane models. They're pretty much in agreement right now that they're going to go somewhere in this area. Now, the other thing that I want to mention is this line. This is where the eye of the hurricane is going to go. The hurricane itself is going to be maybe all the way off over here. So the area that we're expecting to get impacted by the storm is probably more like this. But the area in the black here, and I'll shade it in pink, this is where we're expecting the eye of that hurricane to go. Back to Kansas, we just had a new considerable severe thunderstorm warning here. If I had to be a betting man, I bet that that is going to be for this area here. But we'll wait to see if that comes in that area or if I'm completely wrong. If not, we might be, yep, right there. Hey, that's almost exactly where my square was, just saying. Put me in, coach. I'll draw these warnings. This storm is no longer looking that concerning in terms of tornadoes. Back up in Iowa again. We got another tornado on the ground on this storm right here. Once again, no storm chasers that are on that storm. I can't show any of their feeds. We only have Hunter Hurley down in Kansas. But this storm here in Iowa is producing a tornado. Also, under my head, it says that this is in Topeka, Kansas. No, that's wrong. We're using the Des Moines radar site, but for some reason, that overlay is messed up right now. So I'll have to fix that tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and leave myself a note real quick. Alright, left myself a note. Do you use a PC? Yeah, I do have a, I have a rather big computer. I built it myself. It's on the table next to me. I think you can, if we switch to this camera angle, yeah, we don't need no stream start and text. You can kind of see it right here. There's my computer. That little bit of light you see right here, that's my giant graphics card, but I built myself. That's like one of the most recent computers I've built. Actually, that was like middle of last year, but I've built a ton of computers throughout my days. I actually built Ryan's computer. That's like a $18,000 absolute powerhouse of a computer. It's quite literally the best of everything that you can put in a computer. Actually, I have a picture of that. I should look for a picture of that tornado, or not tornado, a picture of that PC while we're waiting for a little something more to occur here. There we go. I'll send it to myself. Where was that warning? I think that was just that was just a severe thunderstorm warning in Nebraska. Yeah, here's Ryan's PC. I built this one right here. That's our, let me switch the pen color. This is his graphics card. That is an RTX 4090, the best graphic card that money could buy at the time. And not one, not two, not four, but 8 sticks of RAM. Those are 60 or 6,000 megahertz DDR5 sticks of memory. This PC has 256 gigabytes of RAM total, and there's a lot of fans in this thing. They're all those fans that like just plug into each other. There's no cables. It was awesome. And then it has a Ryzen Threadripper 5000 or 5995WX. That's 128 cores, 256 threads. So yeah, this is a beefy machine. And also, a lot of people don't know this, but if you look down here, that's an Apple Mac. We have a Mac Studio in the case. So this is actually a dual PC where we have the Windows PC up here and the Mac PC down here. It is a Lee & Lee case. I don't remember which one. I think it's the 01 Dynamic, but I'm not exactly sure on that. Also, we have another tornado going on in Iowa right here. On the ground again. Yeah, Ryan's PC like needs to do so much work. I set all that up. We have like 5 or 6 different displays going into that. It's running, or it's connected to a bunch of different feeds. It's running some bunch of different custom software and stuff. It needs to be able to do a lot. A lot of people don't need 256 gigabytes of RAM, but Ryan does. There are actually twins on this storm in Iowa. 2 tornadoes. There's one in this region here and another in this region here. Hayden, I played Fortnite on that computer at max everything, and I was getting like 120 to 240 FPS. That was insane. Or it was insane. Our tornado warning here in Kansas has been allowed to expire. I agree with that. This storm is not looking tornadic at this point in time. It still looks beautiful, and it's still definitely a strong storm. This is Hunter Hurley live from that storm on the ground. Definitely a structure of the year storm. Like, oh my god, look at that sculpting there. And just with that sculpting, I would be inclined to assume that there is some sort of tornado threat with that, just because of how round it looks, but there's no tornado threat right now. I do have a little bit of a jokes on you CC drop here. That's not a real CC drop. If you guys are looking at radar, that's clear air. We can see up here by looking at the red crosshair on my GR2 that there's nothing there, and velocity is rather weak for that area as well. It's kind of just playing pranks on us. For those of you who may be new to weather, a lot of people don't use what I have down here in the lower right hand corner, so I'll go ahead and describe what we have going on here. This is differential reflectivity, and it kind of measures, it's like CC but not really. It's kind of a different measurement of what we have going on in the storm. So when we're looking at a storm's intensity, what we want to see in terms of a strengthening or sustaining storm is this area of red in the forward flank of the storm. Once again, the forward flank is this area here, and that's where the inflow region of our storm is. And then when we see a CC drop, we'll see not only the drop on CC, but also a drop in differential reflectivity. So we'll be down beneath the 1s into the 1 to -4 range. And that kind of agrees with the CC drop of, hey, we have something going on there. Yeah, this computer has a RTX 3060 and a Ryzen 5. I think it's a 5700X. Actually, it's slipping my mind what it is right now. Let's take a look while we're just chilling here, waiting for something. What we have going on inside my PC. 7700X. Yeah, that's the one. 32 gigabytes of RAM and a 3060. Let's go ahead and take a look at our new mesoscale analysis here. See if I can find a sector. Yeah, there we go. So this is our vorticity and our 0 to 3 kilometer mixed layer cape. The blue that you see here, that is your vorticity, and the red is, blue is your vorticity, and the red is cape. Actually, no, that was backwards. Blue's cape, red's vorticity. Nope, I had it right. Sorry, I'm tired, guys. Either way, when we see these two parameters overlap, we see the blue and the red in the same area. That means that there's a favorable environment there for tornadoes. This is your storm chasing cheat code, as we call it. People who don't know a lot about the most direct workings of weather, this is a parameter that they often use to decide when to storm chase. And we can see across our whole area here in both Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa, we have a lot of overlapping going on between these two areas, especially up here in Iowa. And what this kind of means is we're not going to need to see the strongest storms to produce a tornado. Yo, what's up, Justin? What do you mean, red? How do I use it for overlays? Yeah, I think what's going on here is the rear flank downdraft of the storm is getting hit by a bunch of new precipitation from the southwest, and that's going to work to make sure that this thing doesn't produce a tornado. Yeah, Outbreak, I haven't played it yet, but I've heard a lot of not so great things about it, I guess, to put it lightly. But yeah, definitely if your game's running on just low FPS in general, double check and make sure that your settings are on minimum. I think we have another tornado in Iowa. I'm just not even going to move this radar. I'm not even going to circle something at this point. I think you know what's going on there. Just a random small storm producing a photogenic landspout tornado. I don't think they're mesocyclonic. I think they're landspouts. But still, tornadoes. Yeah, well, the game is still in beta. Stinker. So this storm still just needs to fight this convection over here in this region of the storm. As long as we have this stuff over here slamming into the RFD of the storm, it's not going to produce a tornado. So, and also Hunter's on it, and if it looked tornadic, Hunter would say something. As I say that,
a new tornado warning has been issued.
Is that for this storm or is that for something else? We'll see in a second. I'm assuming that's going to be for this storm. I'm still not convinced that it looks overly tornadic, but I think they're going to go ahead and issue a warning for this thing just as a precaution. So we'll probably see that pop up in a couple of seconds here. Yep, there's our tornado warning right here.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
And that is a tornado warning for Missouri. That's probably going to be up here, I'd have to guess. It's going to be in a radar hole, so we're not going to see anything. Honestly, I'm going to have to wait and see where that warning is, because I don't see anything overly tornadic in Missouri, but I've had my eye on this storm for a little bit, so we'll see if that's where our warning is. Alright, so that was where our tornado warning was issued. Yeah. There's a tornado warning here. Take shelter. I'm not overly convinced that it's going to produce a tornado, but if there's a warning, listen to it. It doesn't hurt to be safe. So go ahead and take shelter in that area. That includes the towns of Fairfax, Corning, Craig, Skidmore, Quitman, and all the way up into Burlington Junction. Let's go ahead and take shelter, regardless of whether or not there's a tornado on the ground here. It's still going to be a strong storm, so still take shelter. Are you covering in Ryan's absence? No, I'm just streaming because I want to. I find it fun, I find it enjoyable, and I think you guys are enjoying it, so it doesn't hurt to stream. I'm going to bring it back down to Kansas here. Still not really any sign of a, or at least an overly obvious sign of a tornado here. I wonder if that's just radar indicated. Yeah, the source is radar indicated rotation. Sometimes you get a situation where they issue a radar indicated warning and then there's a spotter observed funnel, but this is just a radar or your average run of the mill radar indicated tornado warning. I'm going to go ahead and take a look back up here at Johnson City. Let's see if they got much more rain. It doesn't look like they have. This is the place that we were looking at earlier in terms of significant flooding potential. It looks like they're still sticking around that 5-inch mark. So definitely a lot of rain, but not as much rain as once we would, or as what we just, or we thought could happen. Sorry. Are you doing online college classes? Yes, I'm in an online college class right now, and then in just a couple of days, I actually have a 6-week-long in-person class Also, apparently, we're receiving word out of Livingston, Texas, that there's a dam there at the Lake Livingston Dam spillway is at risk of failure. Nothing that I can show video-wise on that, but if you're in that area, if you know of anyone in that area, go ahead and take shelter. There's no reason to play around with a dam breaking, that's for sure. We had that happen in Minnesota just a couple of days ago, and a very small body of water left a canyon through a highly populated area. Flip it over to Hunter's feed here quickly. There's a lot of lightning on this storm. This is the one that is tornado warned in Kansas. He is near Williamsburg, if you know where Williamsburg, Kansas is. What's up with all these dam failures? All of these dams, like, for whatever reason, we've been getting, like, absurd amounts of rain in the same areas over and over again. So I think what we have going on is there's just a lot of areas that are getting way more water than what they're supposed to. And when we have a situation like that happen, these dams can't hold up to it. And dams only work until they don't. And there's a lot of old dams in the United States that need to be replaced, but we don't have the budget to replace them. So then when we get these 1 in 500 year flooding events, our dams collapse. I think Connor Croft, by the way, is stuck in the mud again. He has, like, the worst luck when it comes to getting stuck in the mud. Junction City has a decent sized dam. Well, I would assume that Junction City probably has a much more substantial dam than a lot of other places do. It's normally those dams that are, like, sort of in between major population areas that doesn't have a lot of city funding, and it relies completely on state funding. That's where we see these dams collapse. And then the issue is, well, guess what? That water has to go somewhere, and it makes its way into populated areas. Connor is stuck and stuck bad. He really can't catch a break. Does Connor have someone to get him unstuck, or does he need help getting unstuck? Ellie. I have a dog. Hold on, let me see if I can grab the dog. Everyone can say hi. Everybody say hi to Ellie. We're gonna let Ellie go. Actually, maybe Ellie doesn't want to go. Ellie wants to stay here. Connor or Freddy's helping him. That's good. And yes, Hayden, the probe did die. We only put one battery in it, and I think it lasted for 34 hours, which is pretty damn good as far as one battery and those probes go. We designed them to last 3+ days on 2 batteries, and we only had 1 battery in it. Yeah, for everyone wondering, Ellie's Amber's dog, and I'm just stealing her for whatever this is. I think she wants to go outside. No, she was just pretending that she wants to go outside. Go figure, a dog tricking you to get your attention. Still have that tornado warning in Kansas, as well as that one in Missouri. The one in Kansas doesn't look overly tornadic, and the one in Missouri also doesn't, or continues to not look overly tornadic. Nonetheless, if we're in one of those areas, go ahead and take shelter. It never hurts to be safe. Storm back here is kind of trying to look funny. It's definitely not going to produce a tornado because it's behind the outflow boundary of the storm that we have here. But it's trying its absolute best to pretend to look like it could produce a tornado. I think it's safe to say that this whole area to the south and this whole area to the north is probably not going to see a tornado today, just because this supercell here is going to steal the show in terms of energy, and it's not going to give any of these other storms a chance to produce a tornado, because hey, you know what, it's taking all the energy from this area all to itself, and that's going to keep it from getting further north. Yeah, it's been a while since Andy streamed. And of course, Ryan's on vacation. Ryan wouldn't have streamed today either way. We're sticking to that 10 hatched or a moderate risk for anything. A 10 hatched risk of tornadoes or a moderate risk at all in terms of streaming on Ryan's channel. I think the streaming guidelines that we settled in on here are a tornado watch or a upper end severe thunderstorm watch. So anytime you see one of those, know that we're going to be live over here on the Mr.Dibble channel. Apparently, that storm up in Missouri, it looks like we had someone take a video of a potential tornado on that. We don't know if it had ground contact. It was about 10-20 minutes ago. But that's why we got that warning up there. It might have just been a funnel cloud. There's really no way to tell for sure what the rotation's looking like on the lower levels of this, just because we're so far from a radar site. Where you get the data feed from, is that the warning feed or the radar feed or what? I think that the tropical storm in the Atlantic could become a middle 2 to a upper 2, or a category 2 to an upper category 2 hurricane, but I don't think it's going to become a major hurricane. But it's still definitely something to keep an eye on. It's probably going to work its way into the Gulf and try something crazy, and we don't know what or how crazy that's going to be. Hayden, I don't think we can say that we'll go live for a tornado watch in Canada, like just cut and dry, because we know how the Canadians are with their weather warnings. But if there is some sort of significant tornado threat in Canada, yeah, we'll probably go live for that. It doesn't hurt. We love the people in Canada too. I'm from Minnesota. I've been to Canada multiple times. I'm practically Canadian if you ask anyone else in this country. Apparently I talk like a Canadian. This is a absolutely monster supercell down here. Not a tornadic supercell, but a big one. I would expect that we're going to allow this warning to expire here and or cancel it shortly. It looks like our storms in Iowa are starting to completely disappear. They were mostly feeding on the energy from the sun, and now that the sun's starting to go down and we're losing the heat from the sun, these storms are going to fizzle out, and there's no longer going to be any chance of a tornado. So that's a good thing. We did have quite a few tornadoes. I think they were land spouts, which are still a tornado. If people don't think that land spouts are tornadoes, you can show them the definition of a land spout, which is quite literally says that it's a tornado, a type of tornado. But we had a bunch of land spouts in Iowa. I would guess probably around 20 or so. We're probably not going to see those surveyed just because there's not going to be anything to survey. So we're going to have to judge whether or not there was a tornado based on any chaser video that we might have, and for whatever reason it doesn't seem like we get a lot of EFU or EF0 tornadoes confirmed from chaser video alone. Still keeping my eye on this storm here in Kansas, especially now that it's not having as much storms hitting it in this very, very southwest corner. It could start potentially become tornadic again. Yeah, I have been watching Connor's live feed in the background. We can't show that, of course, because you can't just steal Chaser's video, but I've been watching that in the background, and that's where most of my call-outs about tornadoes on the ground came from. So huge shout-out to Connor Croft for providing that boots on the ground perspective today in Iowa. I know Freddie McKinney was also there, and so was Storm Runner Media. They were all in the same area, but they did really, really good, and there was actually not a lot of chasers out there today in Iowa. GR3. Definitely didn't click that, but I guess GR3 can come up. Connor's stuck, yeah. I think Freddie was there to help him. If not, I would have rallied some of my friends that I know in Iowa to get him out, but I've heard that he's stuck, so hopefully they're able to get him stuck. Last time I was in the same region as Connor when we were chasing, he got stuck. That was out in the East Duke and El Dorado, Oklahoma area when we had that beautiful shape-shifting tornado there. Which, if you're looking for something to watch after the stream, go into my storm chasing videos, and there's a great story about how Luke Hatton and Jackson Farley and I got that tornado from literally flipping a coin. Are you in school for Met? No. Instead of going to school for meteorology, I'm going to school for water resources. So that's basically everything that has to do with water after it falls out of the clouds. I decided against going for a proper meteorology degree because I feel like you can learn a lot of what you can getting a Met degree on the internet. There's quite literally a free website from the government called MEtEd, and it's literally just a bunch of classes on meteorology, and most large schools use the content from MEtEd for that, or for their courses. A new mesoscale discussion here from the Storm Prediction Center talking about our greatest short-term severe threat, and it's the same areas we've been talking about with this storm up here in northern Missouri and our much larger and more concerning storm here in east central Kansas. It seems like they're also sort of agreeing on this area here not really doing anything at all. But that's a good thing. We don't like to see tornadoes, especially when they're working their way into a populated area such as Kansas City. You can't blame people who chase often for getting stuck in mud often, because there's a lot of mud. And when you chase often, you get stuck in mud often just because there's a lot of shitty roads out there. I plugged my phone in, and apparently this charger is connected to my computer. Burlington, Kansas camera on Radar Omega has an absolute beautiful storm going on with some good lightning. Let me see if that camera... Okay, yeah, we can't show that camera. They have a not for broadcast tag on that. In the future, if we get sponsored by Radar Omega, yeah, that's something we could show. But out of respect for the camera owner, we're not going to show that right now because it looks to be under some sort of copyright. But definitely definitely beautiful structure on this whole area here. That's where this camera is looking. It's in Burlington, and it's looking north. You can go onto the Radar Omega app if you want. I bet a lot of you have it. Definitely a good app to have if you're into weather. That is a new considerable severe thunderstorm warning in North Dakota. Let's go ahead and take a look at North Dakota. We are up in the Grand Forks area, just south of Grand Forks into Buxton and Hillsboro. There is actually some sort of tornado threat up here today. We did have a tornado earlier. Which way is this moving? Okay, so this is bizarre. We just had this warning issued right here, but the storm's already moving out of the warning polygon. That can't be right. I'm wondering if we're going to see this get trimmed here, and Radar Omega is just pretty decent way behind on the warnings, so we're going to keep an eye on that for a second here. But either way, this is a considerable severe thunderstorm in North Dakota. Let's see if it's updated on GR2. The polygon's the same on GR2, so apparently this is our polygon for our considerable severe thunderstorm warning. Anyone in this area here that I'm hatching, you're already good. You don't need to worry about this thing. It's moving off to the northeast. But there is some tornado potential with this. Looks like, okay, there's another considerable severe thunderstorm warning for North Dakota. This is our new polygon, and this one makes more sense. This is more ahead of the line here. Keep an eye out for a strong thunderstorm to come through your area. The hazards we are looking at are 70-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Definitely don't be outside from that, or don't be outside during that. If you can, go to an interior room of your house and take shelter. There is always the potential when you have 70-mile-an-hour hail that you could see a hailstone do something that a hailstone wouldn't normally do. Back down here in Missouri, the extreme northwestern corner of Missouri, it looks like our storm that was once producing a tornado here is starting to fizzle out, and this one to the northeast of it is starting to take over in terms of intensity. So we might see a handoff in tornado threat from this storm in the south to this storm in the north, so that's going to be something we have to monitor over the next couple of minutes. We have the radar doing something weird and putting out a bunch of silly lines here. That is just contamination. I see it over Twitter all the time. Hey, that's HARP. There's someone controlling our weather right there. There is nobody controlling your weather. That is a normal thing for a radar to do. What's going on, Dizzy? How are you doing? And welcome in. I think I saw you earlier in Max's chat. Considerable severe thunderstorm warning here in Kansas remains in effect. We did remove the tornado possible tag from this storm here in Kansas, and that's something that I would tend to agree with. I do think we're going to have some sort of considerable severe flooding threat from this. Let's go ahead and pull our This is GR3 for those of you who are wondering. There's not really a lot of rain accumulation in this area as of yet, but when we're going to see these storms trailing over the same area over and over again for the next coming hours, we could see some sort of severe weather threat. Also, look at the vertically integrated liquid in this. This is a measure of how much moisture and water is in the air. The more moisture there is in the air, the more likely it is for hail and extreme rain. So certainly could have some sort of flash flooding threat here in Williamsburg and Princeton over the next couple of hours. Back to GR2. This storm looks like it's like trying to get its act together, but I honestly just don't think it's going to at this point. It's starting to move out of that most favorable environment, and it's probably going to no longer be tornadic here in a couple of minutes. Up in the Kansas City area, we do have a severe thunderstorm headed for your area. I'm assuming that this is going to be mostly a wind maker and not a hail maker, as there's not a lot of precipitation up in there. But nonetheless, this storm line has been existing for so long that there's going to be a lot of wind to come through Kansas City. So Kansas City, watch out, as we may have a wind maker coming through your area. Take a look at my radar omega again. I'm kind of intrigued on whether or not we might have something, try and do something silly here in North Dakota in terms of tornado potential. We saw it happen earlier today. I don't think Reed Timmer saw it, but Reed Timmer was taking a look at that storm on the ground and looking at it on radar, and we do believe that maybe just out of his sight we could have potentially had a possible tornado. Looking at a few different chaser feeds here. It looks like a lot of the interest from all around is just on this shelf cloud in Kansas, so probably nothing in terms of tornado potential for the rest of today. We're still going to stay live for another couple of hours. I want to see, or not a couple of hours, at least a half hour, because I want to see this line make its way through Kansas City, and I want to be sure that this storm is going to sort of group up with this line here and really go linear before we wrap things up. Doesn't look like we've had any indication of a new watch being issued for any of this area as of yet, so I do think that we're probably going to be done with severe weather after we see storms make it out of this area today. However, that being said, we are back at it again tomorrow with another severe weather risk in Ohio and Pennsylvania. Might not be streaming these ones because I'm going to be away for the weekend celebrating the 4th with family, but if this looks like we're going to see tornadoes at a time that I'm still here, we'll probably go ahead and stream that. Looking out further into the future, on Sunday we're looking at a risk in Montana and North Dakota. This is probably just going to be a severe wind risk. I don't really see much tornado potential up here, but there could actually be a very intriguing tornado threat up here in Montana and North Dakota. Looking even further out, day 4, giant 15% risk. North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, and Iowa. Looking at this on models earlier today, it did look like this is set up to be a significant day, so this is definitely something to keep an eye out. Days 5, 6, 7, and 8, not really anything to look at there as of yet. New considerable severe thunderstorm warning. That is again in Kansas. If I had to guess, that's going to be for this area. Yep, there it is right there. That is our new considerable severe thunderstorm warning. That's probably going to be another one that's you're looking at your 70-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Yeah, 70-mile-an-hour wind and quarter-sized hail. Now, this is an observed threat. We had both weather spotters and emergency management report both of these threats. So take this seriously. If you're out here in Garnett, Richmond, Greenlee, Lane, and Princeton, you kind of still have time to get cars in the garage if you want to. So go ahead and do that now. Further here to the west in towns such as Harris, Williamsburg, Homewood, you guys are already being impacted by this storm, or will be shortly. So make sure that we are inside. We're going to go ahead and flip over to Hunter Hurley and talk with him quickly and see what his thoughts are on today. Hey Hunter, we got your feed up. It looks like the tornado threat on this area may be dying down. What are your plans as far as the rest of the day goes? Give him a second to respond here.
Funny enough, I actually just talked about that on my live stream. I'm going to sit up here a little bit and start getting some long exposure photos of the Supercell. It's still a very well stacked plated Supercell, very pretty storm. And then I'm going to head over to Richmond, Kansas, hop on the highway there and just start my trek home. But yeah, very fun storm today. Very successful chase. At least I want to say 2 tornadoes that we caught on live stream for you today. But overall, just a very pretty storm.
Yeah, we've been getting a few shots of this thunderstorm every couple of minutes on your feed, and it's definitely beautiful. Good job today. I would agree with at least a tornado or 2 on your feed. Thank you for being with us today, and good job.
Thank you, sir. I'm actually about to post a tweet in a minute of some of the long exposure photos I've been taking. If you want to show those on stream, go right ahead.
All right, we'll take a look at those in a couple of minutes when Hunter gets them posted on his Twitter. I'm going to go ahead and find Hunter's Twitter link and put that in chat. You guys, if you're not already following him, go follow him. He was really gracious to us today to allow him to use his live feed. So go show him support. There's not a lot of storm chasers out there who just let you use their live feed just for free, but he did let us do that today, so huge shout out to Hunter. You know, as we're talking about the tornado threat for this storm dying down, it actually looks like we might be getting some sort of convergent signature here where we have RFD meeting up with inflow. So we might see another brief period of tornado potential from this storm, but nothing as of now. Back up in Missouri. Gonna take a look at that quick. No longer a severe thunderstorm warning on our storm here in Missouri, and it's continuing to not look overly tornadic. However, we talked about the environment up there and how it was rich in 3 Cape and vorticity, so it doesn't take a strong storm to produce a tornado. We could get a lot of lower level spin today, which is going to lead to a tornado that is occurring but not very visible on radar. Wonder what our beam height here is. 5239, and our beam height from here is 4209, so just slightly better from this other radar site. Not much better though. We're getting into the radar range where it's not that helpful. Looks like we just got a new mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. I'll go ahead and pull that up here. Localized severe gust threat may persist for a couple more hours. A weather watch issuance is unlikely. Once again, that was that area of storms that we were talking about in North Dakota. The very, very small chance we get a severe thunderstorm watch from this. It's a 5% chance, but nonetheless, we could see a few instances of severe gusts in that area. No tornadoes, though, up there. I can confidently say no tornadoes. I think now that we lost our daytime heat, we're not going to see tornadoes from that line. I don't think we have an outflow boundary. Yeah, so there's definitely an outflow boundary back here, but our area of rotation would be in here. So it's really, really hard to tell without being on the ground whether or not we still have inflow coming into this storm or if it's throwing an outflow boundary completely. So we might go ahead and talk to Hunter here quickly. Actually, when was that? If this wind gust has already been reported at 70 miles an hour, and this was 10 minutes ago ahead of the line, I think it's safe to say that this entire area has thrown an outflow boundary, because it's not very common that you see inflow at 70 miles an hour unless you have really, really, really good kinematics, and we just don't really have that today. So I doubt that this storm is inflow dominant. Also, we talked about ZDR earlier. The ZDR is starting to look a little more meh in our forward flank, which does indicate a weakening storm. We can actually go over to GR3 here and take a look at our echo tops. That is the bottom panel here on the right. And we can see that this storm isn't really going up nor down at this point, so it's probably starting to be a little weaker. Yeah, 70 or 60 to 70 estimate. Either way, if it's an estimate at 60 or more miles an hour, I'm pretty comfortable saying that that was an outflow boundary that crossed through there. It would be nice if we knew which way these winds were blowing, because if it was moving this way off to the northwest, yeah, that's certainly a tornadic storm. But if they're moving to the east or to the southeast, yeah, that's not a tornadic storm. Also, by the way, for those of you who would be interested in it, we do have
a new tornado warning has been issued.
That is going to be for our storm here in Kansas that we were just talking about, probably not having any significant tornado potential. We're going to get a tornado warning for that here, so maybe it is inflow dominant. We'll keep an eye on that. Definitely no CC drop, and if there was a tornado on the ground, we would have a CC drop from the storm. Also, not a good ZDR value, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. This is definitely a precautionary warning. Either way, take it seriously. People in Richmond, go ahead and take shelter. All the way over to Williamsburg, and I think that's Agnola. Can't really tell with my overlay there. Go ahead and take shelter as well. Either way, if there's a tornado on the ground or not, heed the warning and go ahead and get underground or in the most interior room of your house. Anyways, what I was trying to say is we are working on a Discord server for the community here, and that should be ready in the next couple of days. So be ready for that to launch. It's not going to be anything too interesting. Eventually, there'll be an area for our channel members. I know there's a few of us around here who are channel members, and you'll get access to a VIP channel, and it'll be just me, you guys in there. So that'll be a great place if you want to have any interaction with me at all. And if you don't, hey, that's okay. I understand that not everyone can be a channel member. This is the only storm that kind of piques my interest at this moment in time. Still definitely questionable on whether or not we could even possibly have a tornado here, but we'll keep an eye on it. It never hurts to keep an eye on it. Haley, that's what this is all about when we have not a lot of going on, is we just have to yappity yap. I learned my yapping skills from you. You're even better at yapping. If you guys have been sticking around here or watching for a while, go ahead and take a drink of water if you haven't. I know that's one of the things that I always have to tell
Hey,
Ryan.
Riley, are you still alive?
Yeah, Hunter, what is going on? This is Storm Chaser Hunter Hurley live from our tornado warning storm.
I believe
in
the storm
Kansas.
just got tornado warning. Sirens are currently going off in this town here, and we do see a rather large wall cloud on this storm right now.
All right, yeah, I've been wondering about this storm a little bit because there was like 20 minutes ago a report of 60 to 70 mile an hour winds well out in front of this storm. So I thought it through an outflow boundary, but suddenly it looked inflow dominant again on radar. Hey, we love all 27 of my viewers. You got to start somewhere. So that was Hunter Hurley live from Kansas. He said that the tornado sirens are going off, and that is where our tornado warning is. A large wall cloud possible. Should probably put out a tweet about this. I wish that it didn't take so long to make these dang tweets. I need to have someone do this tweeting for me, but there's no one who really wants to manage his social media anymore. So, yeah. Gotta find my stream link. There it is. Sorry for the silence, guys. Just trying to get this tweet out. Bang. Hopefully that worked. Oh, my girlfriend's offering to be my social media manager for $100 a tweet. I mean, I think that's a relatively good deal. Do you think we should take it? I know Haley's gonna say I should take that deal. $100 a tweet? We would never be tweeting. Back to radar here. Velocity is starting to look even more questionable on whether or not there's a tornado here. This was our region of inflow, and this would be our region of RFD, but yeah, I'm not sold on it. So probably going to see that warning be canceled and or expired here shortly. Here's a Hunter's tweet. I'm going to go ahead and repost that on Twitter, as well as show it to you guys here. Gotta click a bunch of different buttons to make it happen. There we go. So this is Hunter Hurley, and this is what he's seeing right now on the ground in Kansas. We can see that there is definitely some sort of lowering in here in this area. Let me switch to not black. There is yellow. Definitely some sort of lowering here underneath this storm. And that's where he is relative to the storm on radar. New severe thunderstorm warning in Iowa. Steven, thank you for stopping by. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank you. Yeah, huge shout out to Hunter for letting us use his feed today. We don't need the storm chasers to do these streams, but it definitely helps to have some perspective on the ground for sure. Because like it's one thing when I'm watching the feeds and I'm telling you guys that there's something going on, but it's a whole nother thing when I'm actually able to show you guys what's going on. And we had Hunter today, and we had Ryan Scholl yesterday. Huge shout out to those guys for letting us use their feed. Velocity continues to look less and less concerning. Just a large area of green and a large area of red. There's not really a type couplet where I'd be overly inclined to say, hey, there's a tornado going on here. But that's a good thing. Tornadoes are bad, and we don't like to see them. Also, a report of 80 mile an hour wind gusts. This is estimated from an emergency manager, and I love emergency managers, but normally when we see an estimated wind gust, especially from an emergency manager, it's probably like 20 or 30 miles an hour less than what it was. So if I had to jump out on a limb and guess what this wind gust actually was, I would probably assume 50 to 60. I think the official warning, the official warning is still for 70 mile an hour winds, and that was based off of this wind gust report here of 80 miles an hour. So we might get a particularly dangerous situation, severe thunderstorm warning here in the next couple of minutes for an area right over here. And of course, if we have that PDS severe thunderstorm warning issued, we should be treating that as if it's a tornado warning. The wind speeds will be just as strong, if not stronger, than some low-end tornadoes. So sirens are going to go off, and when the sirens go off, you should be underground. So if you hear those sirens start and or we see that PDS warning get issued, go ahead and take cover. That severe thunderstorm in Minnesota has been continued, upgraded to 70 mile an hour winds in 2-inch hail. We're going to go ahead and take another look at that on Radar Omega. That's our storm right here, and you can definitely see there's an area of high reflectivity, and that high reflectivity area is going to have the majority of our hail in it. So although this whole area is a
new tornado watch has been issued.
Even though this whole area is under a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, your main area of hail is only going to be in this area here. The overlay just said that we had a new tornado watch issued. That is not a new tornado watch. That is an extension of our current watch. So I do expect that we're probably going to see a couple of these counties down here added on. And they're not going to issue a new watch because it's not a new situation. We've known about it for a while. We're just including a few more of those counties in order to let a few more people know that we may have a tornadic storm going in their direction. Looks like Hunter is starting to make his way into the precipitation core. I bet he's headed home. He's probably looking at the same thing that I am, coming to the conclusion that this storm is not going to produce a tornado. Ryan Scholl, yeah, I knew that he was in Canada today. I don't think he didn't get a tornado, did he? I didn't hear any reports of a tornado in Canada today. And normally, if Ryan Scholl gets a tornado, you normally know that Ryan Scholl got a tornado. That's normally not something that you don't hear about. No tornado? Yeah. I saw that there was a tornado watch earlier in Canada, but I never saw any tornado warnings. Apparently we did, or we're starting to see pictures from earlier in Iowa, drone shots of twin tornadoes, twin landspout tornadoes. Yeah, Hunter is starting to drive through our precipitation core here in Kansas. It doesn't look like a lot of hail, looks like a lot of rain, but it looks like windy rain. Actually, there might be some hail mixed in there. Flip back to radar because cell service doesn't exist in that part of Kansas, unfortunately. It looks like the National Weather Service decided that we're not going to believe this 80-mile-per-hour wind gust report because we never got that destructive severe thunderstorm warning, and 80 miles an hour is your threshold for a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. In fact, if that's our new warning, no, I think that's up here further. Nope, that is a warning somewhere else in Kansas. Where is that? Okay, that's on the other side of our considerable severe thunderstorm warning here. That is a regular severe thunderstorm warning. That's just going to be for 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Take a look back up here near Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City, severe thunderstorms are definitely going to miss you. They went off to your south here. I bet if I can draw this line here and everywhere south of this line in this area here, you're going to see a severe thunderstorm. And everywhere to the north, you're not going to see it. You might get a little bit of rain from the overshooting top of all this convection, but no severe thunderstorm for you guys. I saw the Tim Hortons coffee mix. Tim Hortons is like so delicious. I go there when I can. I go there whenever we're in Canada. Canadian food is like the shit. New tornado warning in
A new tornado
Minnesota.
warning has been issued.
That is interesting. That's what we have up here. I've been watching that in the background. I bet that's going to be for this area of potential rotation here. Yep, it is. That's just a radar indicated tornado warning. So definitely, or no reports of a tornado on the ground yet. This is going to be your potential area of inflow here. So this would be where the expected path of the tornado is. I'm not sure whether or not this is actually a possible tornado or just upper level rotation, because it's so far away from any like decent radar that there's no way to actually tell what's going on inside that storm. Definitely take shelter if you are in Gary, Sundal, Waukon, Mahoman, Bijou, Winger, or Fertile, all the way up into Beltrami and Lockhart. Shout out to Minnesota for having some of the worst the worst town names of all time. Yeah, poutine, what Amber said, poutine is literally the greatest food of all time. And if there's anyone who doesn't like poutine, I don't like you. The best part about Canada is they put gravy on everything, and gravy's always an option. And gravy makes everything better. I've never had any food that I was like, you know what, gravy would make this taste worse. If you are just joining us, the storm in Minnesota is our only tornado warning right now. No chasers on this too, might I add. Actually, I think Reed's up there. I don't know where Reed is. And I doubt he, sorry. Excuse me. I doubt that he followed it that far, but he was up there earlier today. Pancakes and gravy? No, that still sounds good. Like, you try to come up with something that doesn't sound good, but pancakes and gravy sounds gas. Like, if I had pancakes and gravy in front of me right now, I'm eating them. I have this weird looking cracker thing, a Vienna finger. We're gonna get a live Vienna finger review. Sounds like it tastes like a Oreo but with a vanilla cookie. Bananas and gravy? Okay, yeah, I probably wouldn't eat that, but I wouldn't eat bananas regardless. Ketchup chips? Yeah, we have those. You're a food pyromaniac? Honestly, I could mess up some spicy food right now. You know, I have a McDouble somewhere. I want that McDouble right now. I'm gonna have someone bring me that McDouble. I need that in my life right now. You'll never guess what deal I used to get my McDouble too. I used that good old McDonald's $5 meal deal. We don't have ketchup chips? Yeah, we do. There's ketchup flavored Pringles at Walmart. We walked past them today. They're not Pringles. No, yes, Pringles. I don't know. Whatever the ones are that come in the can. Oh, apparently we don't have ketchup chips. I lied. We definitely have ketchup chips. We're gonna go to Walmart tomorrow and see if we can find ketchup chips. Yeah, there's my there's my $5 meal deal right there. We're gonna mess with this $5 meal deal up. There were ketchup flavored chips at Walmart today. I swear to God we passed them. We're gonna go to Walmart tomorrow and find the ketchup chips. Let me see that. I feel like I could definitely find those. Oh. The Lay's ketchup chips? No, we don't have the Lay's brand.
Have any.
I'm convinced I've seen ketchup chips. Thank you. Ketchup chips does sound like very Canadian.
It is. Why we don't? Yeah.
I'm convinced that I'm gonna go to the store, guys, tomorrow. I'm gonna find ketchup chips. Yeah, stay tuned on my Twitter for whether or not we find ketchup chips. I'm a firm believer that I can find ketchup chips in the great state of Wisconsin. Salsa is not spicy. Sriracha just tastes weird.
Look up ketchup chips. Canadian.
But they're here.
No, they're not. You ship them. You have to.
Honestly, I don't know if ketchup chips even sound good.
Okay.
All dressed chips, those are delicious. I'm eating a McDouble. I'm allowed to make a few pronunciation errors. Our tornado threat in this storm in Minnesota is gone. So we're going to go back to our storm in Kansas here. Actually, let's look at Hunter Hurley's feed of the lightning of all time. Are you going to say hi? Oh. She didn't, I don't think she wanted to say hi, but she did say hi. They don't sound good, but when you try them, they are good. See, but ketchup is like a flavor. Ketchup is mid.
Ranch is better.
Like, I'm never like, damn, I want something with ketchup on it. It's always like, I guess I'll put ketchup on it. But he's Canadian. He would say they're good even if they're not because he's Canadian. You at them and you type their name, but it won't autofill, but you just pretend that it will. How have you not had anything ketchup in years? Do you not even have like a cheeseburger? I feel like if you haven't had anything ketchup in years, you have to be like purposely avoiding ketchup flavors. Because like everything comes with ketchup on it. Nah. New considerable severe thunderstorm warning up here south of Kansas City. Once again, that line that I drew earlier still holding true. Where I said nothing south of this line is going to get a nothing south of that line is going to get a storm. Everything I eat is spicy. That's like these two over here. Haley, you said you think pepper is spicy.
When I was 5.
I feel like I know, or I remember times recently where you're eating something with pepper and you're like, damn, this shit's spicy.
You're a liar.
Hammer? Oh, she's claiming she doesn't know. They do have all dressed chips. Yeah, you should send them. She's an all dressed chips fiend, but we could never find all dressed chips. I like how every weather stream we have ends up being a food stream. Yeah, I'll just become a food influencer. You can say hi if you want. Wherever you want. Ghost pepper nugs from Wendy's? There's no way those are good. What the heck? Is this thing trying to spit out a tornado here? Oh, it might be. We might be having something trying to produce a tornado here in Kansas. Almost into Missouri. Drexel, Kansas, right on the border of the two. Right here, there's our interesting looking area. That's where we would have a tornado if one's going to happen. It definitely looks hooky. It doesn't look spinny, but it looks hooky. So we'll see what happens with that over the next couple of scans. You can say hi if you want. New considerable severe thunderstorm warning in Minnesota. Probably gonna be like schmear. I don't know if that was a new one or if that was just an upgrade to the existing one. Oh no. That red polygon that we see on there, that is our new considerable severe thunderstorm warning in Minnesota. I'll get a quick look at what exactly that's tagged with. Looks like we had reports of 1.75 inch hail, and we're now expecting hail of up to 2 inches with 70-mile-an-hour winds. So that would be the reason for our considerable severe thunderstorm warning. Back down here in Kansas, our mini hook here near Drexel is still looking hooky but not spinny. And in order to have a tornado, you have to have a spinny hook and a hook. There's still a small area of rotation here in Minnesota, but it's nothing much. Maybe a little more of something on storm relative velocity, but it's questionable. You know, we're gonna go up in tilt here, see if we can see anything on tilt 2. Yeah, it still looks kind of the same. I don't know, there's some sort of rotation here, but it's not significant. And if I had to assume or be a guessing man on what's going on, it's just hail contamination. The radar is behind our storm, so what we have going on here is the radar beam is coming out of the radar, it's hitting the hail, it's getting all jumbled around in here, confused, and then it's going back to the radar. So it's not going to actually have an accurate representation of what's going on within the storm. Why would nobody buy all dressed chips? Wow, spit it out, Riley. Back down here in Kansas, our hooky no spinny hook still looks hooky, but not spinny. Amber, why would we want to move to Canada? Yeah, but you don't like cold. Apparently, all you need in life to decide whether or not you want to move is poutine and all dressed chips. Actually seems like our radar up here in Minnesota isn't working properly. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh radar Omega, see if that fixes it. No, for some reason our okay, no, that fixed it. Our warning or our reflectivity time was a little bit behind. 40C winters, we get that here in Wisconsin. Like, just cause. We'll have like some days in the summer that are in the winter that are like 43 degrees and sunny, and the next week it'll be like, oh, congrats, it's negative 45 degrees Fahrenheit or 23 degrees Celsius below zero. I don't know what the Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion is, but it's like 1.8 degrees Celsius is equivalent to each degree in Fahrenheit, but I know it's more absurd than that. Yeah, me too. I used to know how to convert it, but now I don't. Dylan, 40C is... What's 40C in Fahrenheit? Negative 40C. Looks like our severe weather as a whole is starting to come to a halt here. Negative 40C is negative 40 Fahrenheit. Yeah. It's like, we get that like a couple times a year. It depends on whether or not there's wind. The wind is the killer. Like, it can be 30 below zero, and that's like light work. But if it's 30 below zero with like a 10-mile-an-hour wind, no, that's terrible. Yeah. I think that's probably like one of the very few numbers that's identical. That tornado warning in Minnesota has been allowed to continue. Still doesn't look overly tornadic. Still just looks like hail contamination messing around with our velocities. But nonetheless, take shelter. Never hurts to take shelter. And either way, you don't want hail coming through your windows and hitting you in the face. Yeah, we need the hot mic on the side. When it was 40C here, I was locked in my house. My doors would not open. I've had our door freeze shut on our house. Our garage door froze shut. That thing would not open, and my mom was like called into work, and she's like, "Yeah, I can't go to work today. My garage doesn't open." Our hook in Kansas is gone. I don't think we're even tornado possible on any of our storms in Kansas anymore. So we're probably going to start to wrap things up here. Did you say, is it like Captain Hook? Yeah, that's exactly. It's Captain Hook. It's controlling the weather and causing tornadoes.
Obviously.
Apparently there's also a tornado in Jacksonville, Florida earlier this morning. Did some very brief damage. You got locked out of your cars? I feel like that's less cold and more like ice. Like, you can get frozen into your car when it's like 20 degrees and raining. Yeah, I remember being in southern Minnesota when it was like 60, 65, 70 below zero in Fahrenheit. Apparently I missed what's his name? Lions was playing Outbreak live on Twitch. That's funny. Having an SPC forecaster play a storm chasing video game. The tornado threat in this Minnesota storm is non-existent. For some reason, we're still tornado warned for another 6 minutes. So we'll keep an eye on that while it continues. Should go back here and take a look at rainfall totals. Up here near Junction City, that's of course we were talking about with our most severe flooding. No more precipitation in that area, which of course that is a good thing. Down here to our south, where we still kind of have these storms hanging around, there's one swath of 3+ inches of rainfall, but we didn't get as much as we did further north, and these storms are starting to hit the gas pedal and work their way out of there. So I don't think we're going to have much of a flooding threat there anymore. Still severe, of course, so there is still some severe threat. Gonna flip radar Omega to this, and we're gonna take a look at our overarching precipitation picture. We have some storms over here in Wisconsin. There was a marginal risk for these, but it looks like everything stayed sub-severe. We do also have this area of thunderstorms. It doesn't look like they're severe right now. There's a potential that these could become severe. Not tornado producers, but just your gusty winds and small hail. That's in the Owatonna, Rochester to Lake City area right now. Down further into Iowa, we have one scraggling supercell up here near Osceola. No, there's one was originally tagged for some sort of tornado threat, but has since gone sub-severe, and I don't expect any tornadoes from there. And then down here we have what was one giant supercell, but has now become more of a mesoscale convective system, and that's just a line of garbage. So not really much to worry about there. Are you gonna give me pee? Yeah.
Waiting. You have to walk in there.
Hey, walk out.
It doesn't like.
We have the kitty back. He's not happy because we're not good at passing the cat off, but kitty's back. He's probably not gonna last as long as he did yesterday. He already seems like he wants to run away from me. But we have a kitty for now. He can just chill here the entire time. Yeah, this stuff down here to the south, we can start to see a clear outflow boundary. So all of this has no tornado potential anymore. We could possibly see a spin-up tornado or two through this area of the line where we still have some sort of convergence going on. But that's also pretty doubtful. If this were to suddenly grow 50,000 feet in the next 3 radar scans, yeah, we probably have a tornado there, but it's not going to happen. Last winter was way too warm, yeah. I have great drawing skills, thank you. I'm really good at drawing circular blobs. P keeps trying to, like, settle down in my arms. He doesn't understand that there's nowhere for him to go. Go up here. Hey, don't make fun of my drawing skills. I think they're pretty good. We now have no tornado warnings, as that tornado warning in Minnesota has been allowed to expire. Still watching this severe threat in Kansas for any potential spin-up tornadoes, as well as just a strong line of damaging winds. Yeah, we're almost done here. There's almost nothing more to talk about. We did just get a new severe thunderstorm watch. We'll at least wait to get the graphic on that if it decides to work. The severe thunderstorm warning graphics from the Storm Prediction Center on Twitter, for whatever reason, have not been working recently. Ooh. His breath kind of stinks, guys. Kind of really stinky. What? How's it going, Emily? Alright, here's our new severe thunderstorm watch graphics. It actually works this time. I bet that this is going to replace our tornado watch. We'll take a look at what area it is. Oh, there's another tornado warning.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Another tornado warning in Minnesota for whatever reason. So we'll go up and take a look at that after we take a look at our severe thunderstorm watch. So this is going to be for that MCS that we were just talking about. This is going to be making its way east over the rest of the day. Or the rest of the night. Chip. Chip is trying to eat my chicken nuggets, even though there's no chicken nuggets openly accessible to him. That's why the cat got off me, because he wanted to steal my $5 meal deal. I mean, I can't blame him for wanting it. I mean, come on now. Alright. Back to Minnesota. We'll go ahead and take Radar Omega up there. So we have a so we have radar, two different radar programs in two different places. It still doesn't look overly tornadic. We do have this new area of...
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Another tornado warning in Minnesota. Wow. So I kind of wonder if these are going to be stacked on top of each other, like we accidentally double warned something. So we'll give it a couple of seconds to figure out where that new tornado warning is going to be. But I still honestly don't see any tornado threat with these storms whatsoever. I'm not sold on it. It just looks like your average run-of-the-mill velocity couplet. I don't see that second tornado warning. I think what we had here is this warning was double issued. So although it says we have 2 tornado warnings, we actually only have 1. And it's stacked on top of each other. Both of those are set to expire in 27 minutes. Possibly more important with that is our 2-inch hail and 70-mile-an-hour winds. This is probably a very, very, very precautionate tornado warning. Nonetheless, take it seriously. There's going to be big hail. We've said it a million times. I'll say it again. Get indoors if you get a tornado warning. Tornadoes win if there's a tornado there. Who's our National Weather Service here? I'm going to take a look at that. Grand Forks. That is radar indicated rotation. So no observed tornado. Still just kind of monitoring this in general. Let's go ahead and take a look back at Kansas City area, or south of Kansas City, I should say, because in my opinion, this is still our greater severe threat. This outflow boundary is progressing even further off to the east, cutting off even more tornado potential for this entire area. But that's a good thing. And as we see it work further east, eventually you'll get over to here, and it's going to cause this area too to also have no tornado potential. But we do have to, of course, still monitor the very edge of this line here for any potential spin-up tornadoes. Whenever we get the strong winds of a QLCS or an MCS or any line of the severe thunderstorms meeting up with the inflow or other directional winds, we get spin. Because these winds hit into each other and they just spin up, quite literally. That's why you hear tornadoes in QLCS systems referred to as spin-up tornadoes, is because they will spin up. Speaking of a spin-up tornado, it looks like we might have something trying to form in this area here that's just south of Pleasant Hill and east of Peculiar. That would be where we're going to see a spin-up tornado along this line, if we are going to see one at all. Back up in Minnesota, still nothing overly tornadic looking. Definitely a precautionary warning right here. But once again, that's towns of Beho, Winger, Foston, and Langby. Be in your safe spots. Once again, whenever I'm quiet, I'm just sort of taking a look at other social media platforms, looking for reports of tornadoes or anything relevant to what we're talking about. So I apologize for any period of silence. It's just we're a one-man team here, and I gotta take a few minutes every now and then to sort of look around the social media world and see if we may have missed anything. Back down in Kansas, once again, nothing too significant going on. It actually looks like we're going to allow these severe thunderstorm warnings to expire, and we might not have any severe thunderstorms winning or severe thunderstorm warnings on this line after a little bit here. Back up in Minnesota, this would be our area of rotation if we're going to see a tornado, but I still think it's contamination, especially with where it is relative to the hail core. Let's take another look back in Kansas. Get a little change of scenery here as we're just waiting for this last sort of lingering tornado warning to go away. Checking the progress of our outflow boundary. Made it a little further forward. watch. Now all of this air back here, this is cold air. This will no longer produce a tornado. It looks like all of our tornado watch, except for these 2 counties here in Kansas, has been canceled. However, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this tornado watch for these counties. There is not going to be a tornado there. So as far as our tornado watch goes, we are done for the day. Now that the SPC has upgraded or updated the site, I'll go ahead and look at the probabilities on that new watch. 10% chance of 2 or more tornadoes, 5% chance of 1 or more strong tornadoes. The probability of 10 or more severe wind events is 50%, and 1 or more significant wind event is a 10% chance. Hail, probability of 10 or more severe hail events 20%, and 1 or more hailstones greater than 2 inches is a 10% chance. EC radar data, what do you mean by that? Like Environmental Canada radar data? This area of rotation here might be trying to spin up a tornado right here. And actually, yeah, I think that we might be getting a, or there might be an attempt at a spin-up tornado here in the Pleasant Hill area. Gonna go ahead now and say, people in Pleasant Hill and Strasburg, y'all watch out. There might be a spin-up tornado trying to happen in that area. We talked about that about probably 10-15 minutes ago at this point, but it's starting to look even more significant. In fact, this is our warning in Minnesota, and I'm more convinced to say that we have a tornado chance here with our unwarned rotation than our warned rotation here in Minnesota. So we're going to keep an eye on this, and this is right next to the radar site. So if we do get a spin-up tornado here, we should see a pretty clear indication. There's definitely, like, if you're looking for tornadoes close to radar, you're looking for this really strong area of winds coming in and this very sudden area of winds going out. Looks like we're going to get another radar update here. We'll see what our velocities look like in a second. Unfortunately, we refer to this area here as the cone of silence, and what that means is we are so close to our radar tower here that our radar information is very, very contaminated. It's very poor, and it's hard to see if there's anything going on. Newest update there on radar, it still looks like we have some sort of area trying to spin up here. It's still probably not a tornado, but if there was going to be a tornado, it would happen here, and the next scan of the radar, we'd see a probable or a nice couplet right through here working its way in that direction. Another area of potential interest over here near Garden City. The thing with QLCS systems is basically any of these areas here could potentially decide that, hey, I'm going to spin up a tornado. They're not right now, but they could decide that they want to do that. Looks like we have a large severe thunderstorm warning. We dropped all considerable tags, so we're no longer worried about a considerable severe thunderstorm, but a severe thunderstorm nonetheless that's making its way through all of these counties. I would almost be inclined to say if you're anywhere in this severe thunderstorm watch, you are going to get a severe thunderstorm warning tonight. It's not something you need to be worried about. It's not going to be overly strong. It's not going to be the thunderstorm of all time, but nonetheless, expect it when you wake up tomorrow. You might have some branches down and some scattered debris. Let's flip it back to Minnesota for a second. Can't forget about our tornado warning up there. The area of rotation that we were looking at is now over here closer to Langby. Still doesn't look overly tornadic. Probably just some upper level rotation mixed around with some hail contamination. So probably not a tornado going on, but hey, take shelter. It never hurts to take shelter. Gonna flip it back to this Minnesota tornado warning, and give me a few seconds. Yeah, give me a couple of seconds and I will be right back. Alright, we are back. Sorry about that. Had to run to the bathroom again. McLaughlin? That's a name and a half. Get our bearings again here. No longer any rotation whatsoever on this storm in Minnesota. We trimmed one of the tornado warnings that we issued, but the other one is still in the full size. Back down here in Kansas, it doesn't look like or Missouri, my bad. Kansas City area in Missouri. It doesn't look like we're going to have a spin-up tornado here, which is, of course, a good thing. We never want to see tornadoes. Over here, definitely some sort of interesting feature on velocity there. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like in the next scan. Other than that, nothing too concerning. Taking a look at our outflow boundary. Once again, we've made it further to the east, cutting off more of our tornado potential. So now, certainly, these tornado watch counties over here, you're not even probably going to see a severe thunderstorm if you haven't already. The only exception to that is this very small area of, I believe it's Garnett County. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weather models for tomorrow. So we're going to start out, as we always do, taking a look at the SPC outlooks for tomorrow. So there is our convective outlook. And we're looking at this region here of Ohio, a little bit of Kentucky, West Virginia, a little bit of Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New York in terms of our greatest severe potential. Taking a look at our more detailed outlooks. This is our day 2 hail outlook. Relatively low chance of hail all around, just a 5% chance of any severe hail whatsoever. Wind outlook, it's a little more concerning. We have a 15% risk of hail in Ohio. It's the same area that we're talking about in that slight risk. And then we also have a slight risk of tornadoes even within that risk area. We have a 5% area here in Ohio, the very, very northern tip of West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and New York. Flipping it over to the HRRR here, let's go ahead and look at some simulated reflectivity. We're taking a look at the 00Z HRRR. This is what it looks like right now. There's not a lot going on, but this is precipitation is going to be something to watch as we see it go into tomorrow morning. I'll just read the times. Actually, the times are right here. You guys can actually see it with the way this one's set up. So 2 a.m. Central Time. All these times are in Central because that is the time zone that I'm in. Dragging this slider forward, this is what it's going to look like around noon tomorrow morning. This is just some general precipitation, and this is going to kind of inhibit our tornado potential tomorrow. Dragging the slider out even further, this is going to be where we see our tornado potential tomorrow. We see this line right here. Anything that pops up ahead of this line is going to have the greatest tornado potential, but this is also going to be an MCS where we have a little bit of a greater tornado potential as well. Bad weather in Minnesota. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. I was looking at it, and I wasn't convinced that there was a tornado, but I was convinced that we were going to have damaging winds and hail. That's why I was saying, hey, even if there's not a tornado, which we don't expect there to be, we should probably still be getting in our safe spots because it doesn't hurt. Hayden, I'm pretty sure the Radar Omega app, they used to have a glitch where it actually was available on Google Chrome. I think they fixed it, but there was some way to access the weather app itself on the website. Taking a look back at our radar here, we still have that interesting area of rotation just to the north of Garden City, and also anywhere that we're seeing these kinks. This is somewhere that a tornado could form. Down here, this is another spot. Could possibly have a tornado try and wrap up there in the next couple of scans. The tornado watch, that they had a 10% chance of 2 or more tornadoes. I'd probably put it closer to like 30 or 40. They're definitely not going to be significant. They're going to be your EF1, your EF2 tornadoes, and it's basically just going to be an interaction between the already strong winds and direction of this MCS and the incoming winds. We do have a TVS here near Gun City. I don't know why we have a TVS, but there is one. Down here near Garden City, we still have that area of rotation. It doesn't look like we have... Maybe we have a very... No, that's not a CC drop. I think we might have something try and spin up here over the next couple of scans, so we're going to stick around at least to keep an eye on that. Hayden, that's really funny. There's a couple of other people who run programs like that where it's like it's an app, but it's actually just on Google Chrome, and they just hide the fact that it's on Google Chrome. New severe thunderstorm warning in Minnesota. We did drop our considerable tag on that, and is now just a regular severe thunderstorm warning. I don't think our NWS severe thunderstorm is updating on Twitter for whatever reason. It might be a little bit behind. It does that every once in a while. So I will let you know what that warning is warning. Here it is. I'll take GR2 over there. That is going to be 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. And we can kind of see on radar that, yeah, it lost a lot of that higher reflectivity that it once had. So that's a good thing. No more hail, and hopefully we're done with the damaging winds. This is still under a tornado warning. That's for this area of rotation here, but still, it is in a very, very weird place for that to be a tornado. And I think that's probably still just contamination. Our beam height is also 66,000 or 6,600 feet, which is not useful at all. I'm better off trying to fly a drone from here to look at this thing in Wisconsin than looking at the radar right now. This was our area of interest over here near Garden City. A little bit of a kink there on reflectivity and also still some convergence on radar. So that's something to keep an eye out for. And back up here again to the north, still these small areas of, it's just going to keep trying to spin out. Let's go ahead and take a look at our mesoscale analysis here. So this is our observed significant tornado parameter. This really isn't the greatest thing to look at, but it's still a measure of whether or not there's some sort of tornado potential here, and we can see that we do have values of 1 on a scale of 1 to 10 in this area of, or in the path of where we're expecting the storm to travel. So that does mean that we could possibly see some tornadoes there. Take a look at our violent tornado parameter just for fun. Yeah, so this violent tornado parameter is even worse than significant tornado parameter, but it's convinced that we have a 6 out of 10 in terms of seeing a violent tornado parameter, or a violent tornado. I can guarantee you guys that it's not going to be a 6 out of 10 chance of us seeing a violent tornado. It's probably more like a 0.06% chance of us seeing a tornado or a violent tornado, but still gives you an idea nonetheless. Okay, this is almost certainly a tornado here. Now we have this nice area of pink and a strong inflow region into this region near Garden City. We've been talking about you guys for half an hour now, if not more. So anyone north of Garden City, north of Quick City, go ahead and take shelter now. Probably going to have a tornado warning here shortly, if not. And if not, if there's not a tornado warning, still take shelter. It's easier for us to issue these, hey, you should probably take shelter warnings than it is for the NWS to go through the process of warning a tornado. So we can do it a little quicker. Look at the ZDR in this region of inflow here. We definitely are going to have some sort of something trying to go on with this. Keep an eye on it over the next couple of scans to see if we get any jump in. And that might even be a CC drop now starting to form. 57 on this. We're going to wait for our velocity and our reflectivity to update to see if they align with that. I think that's probably just going to be clear air. There is one way we can figure that out though. Let's go ahead and switch our ZDR to spectrum width here real quick. There is elevated spectrum width in this area, which this is a measure of the vorticity within a specific pixel of your velocity. So there may be a chance that this is a small tornado just because the spectrum width and the velocity and the CC drop. The issue is there's also an area of low reflectivity there. Actually, in the last scan, there is higher reflectivity values here, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is probably a tornado. Let's go ahead and bring radar omega down here so I can give some better call outs into where we are looking at here. It's about to go towards the town of Lator and Rose Hill. You guys should be taking shelter here. Once again, probably a tornado on the ground here in this area. I'm gonna go ahead and put out a tweet about this. What do you think of the Rapid Sweep Radar Omega subscription? I honestly don't see a use in it. I get the idea of trying to have that to look more professional, but at least for me right now, I don't see a purpose in that. It looks like it's probably gone in that next scan, which is a good thing. Still gonna go ahead and tweet about this. Doesn't hurt to get a few more people informed. My TweetDeck's starting to lose it over here. Sorry, my X Pro is starting to lose it. Once again, this was our probable spin-up tornado right here. But it looks like it's no longer as convincing as it was. There's actually a definite hook on this, but we no longer have that CC drop in our hook here. I'm going to flip this back to ZDR, because ZDR, in addition to CC, is also another way to tell if there's debris in the air. This is probably going to continue to pose a tornado threat over the next couple of minutes at least, because it's going to keep trying to spin up. It's actually rather well protected with this sort of area of convection we have here, so it might even keep sucking inflow and stick around. Let's take another look further down the line to see if we have any other significant areas of convection. It doesn't look like we do. I'm gonna go on our radar Omega here and go ahead and take a closer look. Yeah, that Minnesota storm, ooh, we might get another tornado warning on this, just because what I have seen or what they've issued a tornado warning for up here before, it looks pretty similar to this. So you might get another tornado warning for the towns of Bagley, Shelvin, and Solway. So if we're in those towns, be ready for that here in the next couple of minutes. Take it back down here again. Look at our upper tilts. There's also another area of kind of rotation there. So this is still an area to watch near Quick City. How's it going, Dakota? And once again, further up here too, where we have all of these little vortices trying to form, there's still the potential to see a brief spin-up tornado in those areas. As far as the tornado threat goes anywhere in this region, we did just see that outflow boundary be thrown out. So all of these people in here, you're good. There's no tornado threat there. It's outflow dominant. The only spots that we could potentially see tornadoes are up in this severe thunderstorm warning, specifically north of this line and in this box, until we see these areas here also be thrown behind this outflow boundary. We're probably not going to see a tornado. Or we could potentially see a tornado, sorry. There is some sort of weird appendage here. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think we have a CC drop on that. But this is our area that potentially produced a tornado before, and we may potentially see another tornado from it in the future. I think what we have right here is a streamwise vorticity band. So what we have here is an SVC, or a streamwise vorticity current, and this is basically energy working its way into the storm here. Or it might not be exactly that. It might be a just a normal inflow band. But yeah. Either way, we have some sort of energy working its way into the storm right here. And when energy works its way into a storm, especially one that in a linear fashion with strong outbound winds, that's when we potentially see tornadoes. I think. This whole area looks so funny. There's just like basically somewhat potential of seeing a tornado here. Minnesota, our tornado potential here, or what looked like they might issue a warning for it, it's gone. It only stuck around a couple of scans. I think they finally come to the same thing or same conclusion we did, which is that that is just a contamination. Still this weird area of rotation lingering around in our last scan near Quick City. You know what I could use right now? A $5 meal deal. Someone, I have my Cash App in the link, and someone just requested money. Who does that? That's so weird. I'm just gonna like assume that that was a mistake and they weren't requesting $10. They went to send $10 because requesting money hoping that people are gonna accidentally send it to you is mad weird. Need some of this good old H2O. Still watching this area here near Quick City. I'm especially concerned because we can see the rest of the storm throwing this outflow boundary. Well, this outflow boundary stops here. So there's clearly some kind of energy working its way into here. Ode. Have another cat. Here we go. Second cat of the day. We've had, what, a dog and 2 cats today.
Andy.
Huh? And you. This is Oreo. This isn't Chip. This is obviously a different cat. This one's black and not golden. He's shedded all over me, but we're gonna accept the shedding. Still continuing to look at that area of interest north of Blairstown. That's okay. He must be really happy, guys, because he's drooling on me. Chip is really good of like sitting on my shoulder. Oreo is not. Tomorrow, actually, I'm seeing a few more soundings from tomorrow. Of course, not actual soundings, just simulated soundings from the HRRR and the RAP models. They look somewhat significant. Now Oreos. Oh, please don't go on my desk. Yeah, he left me. He also wanted to go on my desk. I was like, no, thank you. Don't need to start clicking buttons. How long have we been live? 3 hours and 4 minutes. Hey, not bad. Oh, thank you. P. He wants the pizza. I think this area is finally starting to lose its tornado potential. We're even closer to throwing an outflow boundary than what we once were. Once we see it throw that outflow boundary, that's when we are going to call it for the day. So close, but no guitar, as some people would say. Back up in Minnesota, no tornado there. Still a severe thunderstorm. I almost wonder if they're gonna cancel that severe thunderstorm warning or allow it to expire and issue a special weather statement, because it honestly doesn't look that concerning anymore. Once again, here's our outflow boundaries. Anything behind this outflow boundary is not producing a tornado. We almost got to the point where our outflow boundary is into our area of concern here for a tornado, but it's just not there yet. I have a cat meowing in the background. My mic's trying to, like, unscrew itself. We don't need to unscrew my mic. That can stick around. Did Ray or Omega give the Cyclone port cameras to you guys, or do you need to buy it from them? I actually don't think we're using a Cyclone port camera. We already had a camera there for like our own purposes before we even were gonna put it on Radar Omega. So I think that's a camera that we installed there. Just looking at social media here, looking to see if there's any reports of tornadoes, and it doesn't seem like there is. Should we just like play Twisted? I'm being so dead ass because there's just like a minor tornado threat here, but it's not like there's not enough to just sit here and talk about continuously. Hmm? No. 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 We could fly our drone. Ooh, what other weather streamer just has a drone sitting next to their live streaming setup? Like, come on now. I didn't turn it on. I'm literally droning you guys right now. How does it feel? This outflow boundary is getting ever closer to our it's getting ever closer to our area of tornado interest here. But it's not done yet. Yeah, if we put this into motion here, you can really see over on this side where we used to have these greens of inbounds, and now it's really just our reds taking over. As soon as we see our reds take over this entire area, that's when we know that we're going to be done with our tornado threat. But still, it continues to stick around right here. Holden, more like Hayden. Yeah, shout out to Hayden for always carrying me in yeah, the bitrate. What do you mean? I think that's just what it looks like. So I'm looking at it on my OBS and it's fine, and my bitrate is still 6,000 kilobytes a second. Jordan, yeah, if we play Twisted later today, which I don't know, we probably won't, but if we do, you can definitely join. It's 11:18 Central. What? It's a storm chasing video game. We played it 2 days ago. We'll probably after I get back from like my 6 weeks of school where I can't like stream at all because I'll be away. We'll probably do we'll probably do like one Twisted stream a week or something, and then also just our regular severe weather streams like we're doing now. Damn, if I had $1 for every time I've said in the last like half hour, I'd be rich. Twisted, I'll be honest, it's a really, really hard game to like get started on. Like, you have to really work with nothing to start, you have to start with nothing to like get something. I want pee. He actually sits on my shoulder. What are you driving, Twisted? Normally I spawn in the probe truck, and then Hayden drives me around in the Dominator or the Tiv. And basically what we do there is we'll have like 5 people with 4 probes each, and then we'll just like spam probes and tornadoes to just farm money. Oh, he wants to go to the bathroom. Yeah. I want to get the Dow. That's the one that I really want to get. Because, like, everyone else has the Tiv with the Dom. I don't need to get that for myself. I can just have somebody else get it and then use it. Outfill boundary. Even further. Oh, where's my pen? Even further now. Almost done. We just are barely away. There's this one area of lingering circulation. Can you drive the probe truck? Nobody actually drives the probe truck. We spawn the probe trucks in because then we can have maximum probes in our inventory. I think you get 4 of them. And then the Dom or the Tiv will drive us to where the tornado is, and then we'll deploy all those probes. So you don't actually have to have the probe truck there to have the probes in your inventory. What is this new convection, bro? What is this stuff trying to do? This right here could actually pose a tornado threat if it like kicks up and gets going. Hmm? Sure. Why does my YouTube category say news and politics? This is definitely not news and politics. I'm gonna have to switch that bad boy. We're gonna set our YouTube category to entertainment, because this is definitely not like normal news. This is more entertainment than news. What? Yeah, this is the most political channel in the world. It's just all politics talk here. Our severe thunderstorm in Minnesota has like practically stalled. Yeah, I storm chase IRL too. We have a couple of not a couple. We actually have quite a lot of storm chasing streams that are logged. Like you can go back into the list of channel live streams, and there's a bunch of them there. We chased for like a week or 2 earlier this year, and we had a bunch of successful days in a row. So those streams are all up. So there's also the video of the Harlan and the Harlan tornado, the Waverly tornado from April 26th, and then also the El Dorado tornado. That's probably one of the better ones. What happened to Ryan? Ryan's on vacation, and Ryan only streams for 10 hatched tornado risks or higher, or a moderate risk of wind. We're also going to start going live for PDS severe thunderstorm watches. I think Ryan gets back from vacation tomorrow. I don't know. I talked to him earlier today because he was working on a couple of new things for the he's working on a couple of new things for his channel. No way. Max. A quarter pounder with bacon. That's not part of the $5 meal deal, my guy. We gotta lock in on the $5 meal deal. Aren't you still streaming? Why do you have my... Hold on. I swear to God you're still streaming and we're in my chat talking about $5 meal deals. Yeah, he's still streaming, guys. I'm gonna go talk about the $5 meal deal in his chat. What? We're gonna play a couple of silly games here. Yeah. He definitely is, in fact, still live.
Sorry, I'm commenting in somebody's chat while I'm live. Crazy stuff.
Now I'm commenting in his chat while I'm live.
Now Mr.Dibble is in the chat. I'm literally typing in his stream, and now he's typing in mine.
Yeah, we're talking in each other's streams now. Yeah, this is the most
Bacon and cheese.
Yeah, but $5 meal deals, that's where it's at. And I mean, he thinks he wants a bacon quarter pounder. No, $5 meal deal. That's where it's at. Actually, this is my $5 meal deal, max. $5 meal deal. I don't know if he can hear us, but we do in fact have a $5 meal deal.
Check that stuff out.
We gotta have that $5 meal deal.
Matt, I'm gonna get a double or a quarter pounder with bacon or whatever it is.
And yeah, here's our small fry that I've been demolishing. This outflow boundary will not pass this region of inflow. It's almost there, but like, I just drew all over my screen. Whoops. Oh, we don't need no cat on the deck, or cat on the table. NASCAR over F1. You know what? I don't appreciate that. I literally have my Red Bull F1 car. I have my RB19 right here. I have the RB19 for both Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. I have Charles Leclerc. I have Carlos Sainz. I have Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, and Lando Norris's car. Somewhere there's that version of an Oscar Piastri's car, but I don't have it yet. Walmart sells it, and I will find it at Walmart eventually. I just haven't found it yet. Yeah, Max just quit streaming because he needs that $5 meal deal. Which, like we said yesterday, you can get that $5 meal deal and use your 20% off discount. So it's not even a $5 meal deal, it's actually like a $4.27 meal deal. All I know is I got a $5 meal deal and a large Coke today. Let me see how much I paid. I can't find it. Oh no, did I clear it? I got a large Coke and that $5 meal deal, $5.73. Max quit streaming for a burger? No way. I see. Real streamers, they just have their McDonald's cheeseburgers on standby. I purposely went to McDonald's before the stream to get me my $5 meal deal. You're having McDonald's too? Yeah. No, I think both Max and I are like quite literally fueled by McDonald's. This is my empty McDonald's Coke right here. I wish I had more Coke, but I'm out. Storm Chaser Gabe, thanks so much for the $2 donation. The $5 meal deal, we were hyping this shit up all day yesterday. Like, I think we were talking about $5 meal deals more than we were talking about storms yesterday, which is normally how it goes on this channel, by the way, for those of you who don't know. We talk about food a lot more than we do food. Max, here, we can make this deal. If you go to McDonald's and post a video of you hitting the gritty on Twitter in front of McDonald's, I'll give you mod. But we need the gritty in front of McDonald's. Ryan, Diet Coke tastes like trash. I'm gonna be so unbelievably honest with you. I think we finally had our outflow boundary cut off our one region of inflow we have here. McDonald's, yeah, McDonald's is disgusting, but it's dirt cheap. When does this expire? 15 minutes? This is probably going to get expired. I do think it did go, like, yeah, it's not stationary, but it's almost stationary. People are gonna think it's crazy. It's 1 a.m. Hey, it's only 11:30 here. That's a Eastern time zone issue. People are only gonna think I'm sort of crazy. They did just issue a new severe thunderstorm warning in Minnesota. That's for right here. That's gonna be for 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail again. They're probably just gonna keep doing that. You're not trying to have the extra calories. If you can't have a McDonald's Coke over a McDonald's Diet Coke in life, I don't think you can have anything. Max, I'm now expecting a video of you hitting the gritty in front of McDonald's. Maybe. Live stream tomorrow? Maybe. I'm supposed to go home tomorrow to see my family, but like 5% tornado risk in Ohio. So we'll see. I'll have updates on my Twitter, and I'll probably make a community post on YouTube as well. I'm gonna start posting like more specific updates on Twitter, as well as more frequent community posts, kind of updating what our plans are as far as live streaming goes. McDonald's Diet Coke sucks. Yeah, that's because any Diet Coke sucks. Like, Diet Coke is just Coke for people who like are sad. Any happy person would not eat or not drink Diet Coke. I say that, but Ryan drinks the most. Like, Ryan Hall, that man lives on Diet Coke. Diet Coke and core water. I'm almost out of water. Yeah, you should go fill that. Yeah, I have my girlfriend's sister as my servant down here, only because her cat's down here. You know what? In order to ensure... Stole the cat. See you later, Max. Thanks for stopping by. Some circle? That sounds nasty. I drink tap water, but like from the refrigerator, because if you just drink straight tap water, you're psychotic. It tastes like nothing. Zero sugar Mountain Dew. You know, we had some Baja Blast haters in chat last night. Honestly, I was kind of let down by people. Thank you. I stole your cat, too. What was that? Sprite? Sprite is gas. Alright, well, we have more people here than we've had all day. What's the best candy of all time? Caffeine-free Coke only? Yeah. My girlfriend Amber is an absolute caffeine-free Coke merchant. How's it going, William? I think your cat likes me more than you. Gabe, thanks for another donation. That's a $5 donation. That's $7 today. Thank you so much. Icelandic water is the best water. What makes water Icelandic water? Like, is it a specific brand? Hold on. Like this? $45 for a 12-pack of water seems insane. Yeah, Amber, that's owed. That is the Oreo. Peace candy? Alright, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think toffee is like the actual, like, worst thing of all time. Toffee. Toffee.
Taffy.
No. Heath is toffee. That's like burnt sugar. Taffy is different than toffee. Butterfingers, delicious. Ryan's okay, yeah, he's just on vacation. For whatever reason, every time Ryan goes on vacation and I'm live, people are like, oh, Ryan Hall, bro's dead. But he's not dead. He's just on vacation. Water straight out of Iceland. I mean, Minnesota, there's ice and it's land, so it's practically the same thing, right? Oh, I'm being told no. What? No. Okay, this convection here, best candy is Hershey's. But Mr. Beast is better. Mr. Beast chocolate is better than Hershey's. And that's just factual. This convection here is going to cease to exist. He hasn't been live in a month. That's because there's been no 10 hatched in a month. Ryan will go live every single time there's a 10 hatched, and he'll go live every single time there's a moderate risk, but he's not going to go live besides then. If we don't meet, like, quite literally those explicit guidelines, there's not going to be a Ryan Hall live stream. Mr. Beast candy is not in Canada yet. Well, I guess you're missing out. You can have ketchup chips, but not Mr. Beast candy. Hershey's used to be good. Hershey's hasn't changed. How would it used to be good and it's not now? I like Kit Kats. I have a stack of like 12 Kit Kats on my desk. It's in Australia. That's because like YouTubers always have some sort of weird connection to Australia. Yeah, it really doesn't make sense, but that is what it is. Have we completely thrown an outflow boundary? No. We're yet to completely throw an outflow boundary. We're all the way up to here. If there's an MCV here and we can see a rear inflow jet, we're gonna call it. So yeah, no, we're done in terms of tornadoes. Here, we can break it down why real quick. Let me switch to one panel. So we have our outflow boundary right here in front of this entire line. This is in Kansas, in Missouri, by the way. Riley desk tour win. Stick around. I have a camera that shows my desk, and well, that's the stream ending camera. That camera can see right there, by the way. Yeah. Now that this outflow boundary is completely in front of this whole storm system here, this area, we can guarantee that there's not going to be a tornado because there's no convergence ahead of this line. This convection back here, it's in a crappy environment because obviously you just got convected by all of this. And then up here further, when we put the radar into motion, we can see that oh, maybe we can't see. My keyboard's not working. There we go. We can see that we kind of have this area looping in behind there. So that basically means that this is also not going to produce a tornado. So that is finally the end of our tornado threat. We'll throw it up to Minnesota one more time just to make sure that there's not going to be a tornado threat. Up there, flip it to the 4 panel. Oh, that's not the 4 panel we want. We want... No, yeah, it is. Take a look at this storm. This is our severe thunderstorm warning near Bemidji. For those of you who might have cabins, this is Leech Lake in Minnesota. This is going to go to the north of Leech Lake, and this is where we had a couple of tornado warnings earlier. I still believe that that was mostly from hail contamination, but now we don't have any sign of rotation at all on radar. So this is just going to be your run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm. It'll probably exist for a couple of hours or so, but no tornado threat with that. Gabe, huge shout out to you for $10 worth of donation today after that $3. Thank you so much. It's because of people like you that we're able to make this happen. We've only streamed in studio severe weather coverage like 5 or 6 times total on this channel. 3 of those being in the last 2 days, or the last 3 days. We're probably going to start doing it a lot more frequently. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. This is much different than a lot of other people's severe weather coverage. We're a lot less serious. We like to have a lot more fun around here. So yeah, I gotta pull up Ryan's intro or Ryan's intro song because that's what we use as our outro because that's funny. Wow, it just blasted me in the ears. It does not need to be that loud. Alright. I will see you all in the next stream. Gotta switch. Oh yeah, forgot desk tour. Yeah. Let me full screen this. Desk tour. This is my McDouble. We're gonna move that. But this is what my setup looks like. Got 4 27-inch monitors. This one's a gaming monitor. This is 165 FPS. These are 1440p 27-inch monitors. Those are just 60 FPS, but we don't need high frame rates. These lights in the background, of course, are to light up my face so I don't look dark and blown out. And then this back here, that's my computer. It computes things. Does Ryan know that we get tornado outbreaks in a 5 tour? Yes, he does, but there's so much that goes into a Ryan Hall live stream. We unfortunately can't go live for every single risk. Oh, and then, yeah, this is my mic, in case it wasn't obvious. That's what I talk into. Alright. Gotta do a little these. Move that. I will see you. You can't see that up there. We'll throw it down here. I will see you guys in the next one. The main monitor is 1080p because it's gaming. I will see you guys in the next stream. Goodbye.